Amazon.
Yeah. We can get you some of that sweet CBD oil.
Oh, yeah. It puts the lotion on its skin.
It puts the oil on its skin.
Puts the CBD oil on it.
Or else it gets the hose again.
And now you're very relaxed.
Right. So you just
in
don't
the creepy
care that
well.
he's going to like cut your skin off and wear it.
Yeah, you're just cool.
It's cool.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'd fuck me.
Wow.
Welcome to the Horror Virgin. I'm Clint.
I'm the Virgin Todd.
I'm Jennifer.
And we have a very special guest with us today
Yes.
who we have not scared off.
She's one of us.
I am now one of you.
Yeah.
Kayla from Music City Horror.
Yes.
Yay.
Welcome to the Pod Loft.
I was very excited to be in the pod loft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't
Was
know
it
that we had a
everything you thought it
CBD oil dealer among us.
was? I know.
Guys, we just got done watching The Ring.
Yes,
Todd
it
is
was
so
so
upset right
good.
now.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
so fucking angry.
I might
You notice
have
how he
got-
hasn't talked much in the last 30 seconds?
Yeah.
So mad.
I might have gotten hit with a pillow a few times.
Yeah, that's true because Kayla picked this.
It's my fault. Sorry,
Yeah.
not sorry.
I accosted you with a pillow.
You did start beating the shit out of her
Yeah.
in the middle of this movie.
I did deserve it, to be fair,
I don't-
because this movie is very
I
scary.
don't think
It
it's
is.
fair to say that she deserved it.
Yeah.
You know, this movie wasn't
She was
nearly
asking
as
for it.
scary as I remember.
I'm just kidding.
It
Never hit
wasn't?
women with
It
pillows.
wasn't. I
Exactly.
feel like I'm pretty sure I have not seen this movie since 2002.
It's
I really
been a
haven't.
long time for me, too. I may have seen
honestly,
it once
it's been a very
somewhere.
long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, like you've never
Like
seen
never.
Oh,
it.
that's right. I never saw it.
You want to watch The Ring 2?
No.
Tom?
No, I don't want
Just
to
for
watch
fun?
this.
I'll answer for Todd. No.
I was talking to
movie's
my
bad.
buddy before I came out here, and he was like, "What movie are you watching today?" I was like, "We're watching The Ring." He was like, "Ha, good luck."
Yeah.
So like, it's been amped up in my mind, and like it was.
It'd have been funny if he'd have just handed you a VHS tape.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Watch
It
this
would have been,
first.
it would have been
days.
weird if he
This is
handed
the
me
trailer.
a VHS tape.
It would have been weird.
You're like, what is this?
Can you take this to McKay's for me?
That's where we got this.
That is, I got it for 25 cents at McKay's. I was so
Worth
proud.
every penny.
Is it really sad that I was just talking to somebody yesterday about how I hate their VHS section because it's not organized?
Oh my God.
I'm like, they just throw all their shit in this pit.
Because
Yeah.
you have to
to be-
buy it.
Because there's
What
so
is-
much shit in the pit. What else are
Yeah.
you supposed to do with it?
Well,
That's even a little bit too much
Does
for me,
anyone
though.
own a VHS player?
yes.
I do, but it does
Eli
not
from
work.
Music City Horror collects VHS tapes.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
Does he have one that has the ring thing on it?
You know, I'm not sure,
You should
but
give
that's
him
a
one
really
to just
good
put
question.
like a copy thing on it.
I know.
What
is his
That would be awesome.
favorite VHS?
That's a really good question for Eli.
Wait.
Because he has a very large collection. Especially, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this movie," and I'm like, "I have never even heard of that
Yeah.
thing," and he's like, "Oh, I have it on VHS." I'm like, "Oh,
I mean,
Kayla.
yes."
Just in case we have some listeners that haven't listened to your podcast yet, tell us how you got into horror movies. How did it come about? What was the first one you watched? Give us the deets.
Okay, I don't really know which one I first watched, but I am a child of the 90s, and so I very fondly remember Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the
Goosebumps.
Darks,
Oh God.
Fear Street?
Fear Street,
Weren't
a little
movies,
bit,
I love Fear
and
Street.
Scooby-Doo. My parents loved Scooby-Doo and let me watch it a lot.
Oh, snap.
I mean,
So I
I
grew
like
up-
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo does a
Scooby-Doo.
lot of like spooky
Yes,
episodes.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
There's some really
Yeah,
scary
they're all monsters.
Yes.
And sometimes famous people show up to help them solve who the monster
Yes.
is. Like
Globetrotters.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah. What is it? Barney from Andy Griffith's show was on there.
Oh, I thought you meant
Don
big
The purple
dinosaur
dinosaur.
Barney. I was like,
Oh,
what?
God.
What?
I mean, like I said, I am the child of the 90s,
Yeah.
so I would have been like, Barney? Yeah,
Yeah.
where is he?
The world's colliding.
But yeah, I don't remember the first one I saw. I just feel like I kind of grew up with that because that was the trend when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Was
And they're
just like
awesome.
horror for kids. I just grew up watching it and liking it a lot. And
I'm
yeah,
out.
I was always just kind of a creepy kid who liked creepy stuff. That was
Me
awesome.
too, man.
Do you remember seeing
Yeah, I
The
don't
Ring
know.
in theaters?
No,
So this is
I
pretty
was
early
too-
for you.
I was too scared to go see The Ring in the theaters.
Okay.
I
that
was
makes sense to me.
I was pretty young. So I was pretty young when this movie came out, but I remember seeing the marketing for this movie on commercials all the time because I was obsessed with MTV, and the commercials were terrifying, and I
Yeah.
was way too scared to go see it in theaters. Like, why would I bombard myself with this?
Well, and see,
in the
that's
movie
one thing
theater?
that's cool about horror fans too, is because there are movies that I've been too scared to watch too, and once I finally do it, I love it, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, I avoid movies for a long time.
I
'cause
watched
I'm
this
too
with my
scared.
friend Jenna for the first time. Jenna, if you're listening, I love you so much. And Jenna,
I love you too, Jenna.
Jenna made me watch this movie. And
I think Todd and Jenna are dating now. I don't know what just happened.
Jenna, you have a boyfriend, by the way.
Oh.
So no worries. Yeah.
Clint,
Todd's out.
you might not need to call me.
Jenna is on it.
Jenna
It would be cool if you guys got married based off this starts something real.
This is a whole thing now. But Jenna made me watch this, and I watched.
I felt very uncomfortable about my pending nuptials.
This isn't about you.
Jenna's awesome. You're all good.
Nice.
But I watched this movie like the whole time with my eyes covered up, and she was like, "Oh, this part's not scary," and so I uncovered my eyes. And it was the scariest part of the movie. Of
So
course.
you're saying my
Yeah.
fiance's a liar?
I mean, she's not a liar.
Quite a leap we
She's
just took here.
just a prankster. You know,
right,
I
fair
think you'll
enough.
appreciate
Just
that.
be ready.
Yeah.
And she likes horror, so I don't
I'm
know how
out.
compatible you
I
two will
am
be.
out.
Yeah,
single
I don't know if I
again,
can date somebody that
I
likes horror
am
movies.
single again, ladies.
Oh, it was a quick relationship.
That was
but,
great.
you know,
And Jenna didn't
the
even know you were
memories.
dating.
Yeah.
Because this
That's
isn't even
normally
out
how it
yet.
happens
Yeah.
for me.
Oh,
It's a devastating breakup.
Jessica Chastain has no idea.
She'll be happy when she
like
finds
that
out.
can
No, she
quickly
won't.
It'll
go
be great.
get
Yeah.
very weird and illegal. I remember seeing this in theaters.
You were so brave.
I was okay, but I
But
made
we
my,
were like 25 already.
yeah.
No, we weren't. When did this come out?
2002, 22. Yeah,
I just aged us too
I
far.
remember-
we weren't that old.
my friend Allison went to see this with me, and I made her come into my apartment because my roommate was out of town, and I made her
Did you
come
guys
in.
kiss or whatever?
No, but I made her check all my closets with me.
Yeah.
I unbuttoned like almost all of my buttons, and we just
Put on our socks, did risky business across the floor.
It's just like at the beginning, it's like the two girls are in their little
We should
school
just go through it
uniforms.
because I've got.
Yeah.
Should we go through?
I
the
mean, I
movie
guess we
first?
should.
Yeah, let's
it's
go
sort
through
of
it a
like
little bit.
what people listen to us for.
Right.
This is like when I listen to
They
My
shouldn't
Favorite
be
Murder,
listening to
and like,
podcasts.
they talk for 25 minutes about like their lives and shit. And I'm like,
Right.
just skip it to the murder.
Are you a skipper?
Fuck
You're
yeah.
a skipper.
Oh, but I want to be their best friends. I want to know
I
all about
know.
them.
See, for me, it's different. Well, no, I mean, I like them, and they're very funny. It's sort of like, and my sister, my older sister, is very, very funny and very, very. She's very like them. So I feel like I just called my
She
sister,
a
but
Karen
I'm not
or a
allowed to talk.
Georgia?
She's more of a Karen than a Georgia, but she, I mean,
love Karen.
I like both of them. Yeah, Karen could get it. Like she,
Oh yeah, she probably knows some tricks.
old chicks, no tricks. Karen, call me. I will disappoint you for hours.
We're already done with Jenna. Moving on to Karen.
I
Jesus.
know.
Wow, that was fast. I don't know.
That's what
It's okay.
she's gonna say. So can we go through this movie?
Yes.
Oh,
So this movie opens with two teenagers
Yeah.
hanging
Yes,
out,
which-
Russ
talking about.
Tamlin's daughter's in this.
Oh yeah, Russ
Amber
Tamblin's daughter.
Tamblyn.
Wow.
West Side Story fans will be happy to hear that Russ Tamblin's
Mrs. David
daughter,
Cross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Russ
Oh,
Tamblin's
no.
daughter. Russ is Riff in West Side Story. Also Gideon in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
I was in that movie.
You were not in the movie. You were in the high school
I was
production.
in the musical in college. No, it was college. But then later on, I realized
Who
that
were
I
you?
didn't. I was townsperson.
They have no, sorry, because Millie, they have 8
I was a
major
freshman.
female characters.
I did not
You
have
didn't make the
one
cut?
note of singing or one line of dialogue.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's
let me-
Were you
okay.
on drugs
Can
at the
Can I
time?
ask? Can I ask?
That's a legit
Well, maybe.
I
question.
have to ask this. I have to ask this. Did you just go see Seven Brides for Seven Brothers? And,
No, I was
and protect
actually
yourself
in it. No, I wasn't. And I remember I was a townsperson and I had to black out one of my teeth because I was like a yokel, you know?
Oh my!
adorable.
God.
It was-
All right. Can
We watched The Ring.
Oh, yeah, The Ring.
Oh yeah, Russ Tamblyn.
By the way.
Yeah.
somehow
Russ
I got
Tamlin's
there.
daughter.
Yeah.
This is the first time a podcast has gone on a Russ Tamblyn tangent. This is the first.
We'll call it a Russ tangent.
I had no idea who Russ Tamblyn was.
I don't even
Until
I
about
don't
an
know
hour
who Russ
ago.
Tamblyn is either.
I
think
this
Todd may have
musical
just-
knowledge though is very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I just
I'm
have to
real
say,
gay,
yeah.
Caleb. I'm real gay. I'm super into chicks and Clint, but I'm
Oh,
real gay.
Just super gay.
I transcend sex.
He's right though, ladies. He's right.
So did anybody else get the feeling that this movie really could have gone in a different direction, just focusing on the high school kids?
Yeah.
'Cause you
Oh,
could have.
sure.
I feel like maybe there was an
Honestly-
earlier draft that just focused on them, and then
I saw it going in sort of an urban legend type direction
Yeah.
when it was at the very beginning, and then it goes to journalist chick, and it
Yeah.
becomes very like adult-ish. I
I
don't know.
liked
not
it better,
adult,
though,
but,
we
like-
changed the cliches
Yeah.
for many years to come.
Yes.
Like it really was
And
about the
created
teenagers up
some.
until this point. In the 90s, that was the phase we were going through, and then
Yeah.
they brought the adults back, and then The Grudge followed.
Yeah,
and-
like I'm trying to think of another. I can think of Aliens, but what's another movie where like
Is that the
there's
one
a
with the dollar sign
mom?
through the S?
It
Kind of
is,
like
yeah.
Rosemary's Baby, maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like it did kind of die out for a while where it was just teenagers, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a grown woman like doing things.
Right, with
and
the
not getting
child,
slashed.
you know,
right.
and just more of a focus on that.
And all the way up to the Babadook a couple years ago. Like, it's still
the
going.
Babadook.
Yeah,
And Hereditary.
he's not ready for Babadook, though.
Oh, no.
You made me watch Hereditary. Eat a dick. I hated that movie.
Hereditary's not that scary.
Whatever.
I thought it was terrifying.
I did too, yeah.
I thought it was
very
terrifying for
scared.
maybe like 10 minutes in there toward the end. But
Ooh.
But Clint's dead inside.
I just
so,
get-
I, am
you know.
dead. I watched
just
this
get really
movie and I'm
into it.
The Ring, and I'm like, what?
I am just like over empathetic. I think I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
how
me too.
tragic. She must all these feelings she must be feeling. Like it's
Yeah.
so awful. And then I just relate too much, and I automatically am like,
Yeah.
I'm already terrified because I'm practically am her. at this
Exactly.
point.
Yeah, that's how I
in this
feel.
movie.
I felt like her the entire time.
Did you?
Just like that level of terrified.
I felt like
It was
the,
super
the
hot.
ex-boyfriend that didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I sympathize with him.
Oh,
That
did
gives
you?
a fuck. All right.
All right, yeah,
Let's go through
we'll
this.
get
So
into
we
this.
start
Okay.
out with two teenage girls in their Catholic schoolgirl uniforms
Oh,
in
I
their
was
bedroom with
Just
no
a gift,
parents
just a
home.
gift to Todd.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
That was
was
written for Todd.
into
Yeah.
it.
The two girls are talking about like typical high school stuff,
Yeah.
and one of them starts talking about how she just went on a trip with her boyfriend.
Well,
and there
that
were a
was-
couple of
Yeah.
other teenagers there.
Yeah.
And they were telling the scary story about the tape that they just
Well,
heard.
Joan of Arcadia was saying
about.
there's this tape that kills you in 7 days or whatever,
Yeah.
and the other girl.
No, it was the other girl telling.
No.
Oh, okay.
The other girl was like, "Oh, I just watched that tape," and Joan of Arcadia was like, "Oh, you're just trying to scare me."
Joan of Arcadia is Amber Tamblyn.
Okay, so Amber Tamblyn, Joan of Arcadia. Who's the black-haired chick or brown-haired chick?
I don't know. She looks like grown-up Samara.
Because she sort of does. She's
'Cause
the
the
one
hair,
that
yeah.
She's the one that brings up the tape, and
Yes.
then that's when
Yeah.
Russ Tamblin's daughter says
that she watched the tape.
watched the tape, and
Yeah.
then
They all watched the tape,
And
right?
we
There were
watched
four
it 7
teenagers on the
days.
trip.
that
Four
girl
of
didn't
them.
watch it.
Okay.
The girl Joan of Arcadia was talking to hasn't seen the tape.
Yeah.
And is that a thing, by the way, to just go on a trip with your high school friends with no adult supervision? Like, yeah, we
I mean,
went
if
to
you
the
had bad
mountains
parents.
and
I'd-
hung out.
I mean, I went on my senior trip with a bunch of girls.
Yeah,
and
we
there
went
were no
on a spring
parents.
break trip.
Wait.
But
But we all went on
You know
youth
details.
we all went on
I've
youth
gotta know more about
church
this.
trips.
Right,
That
yeah.
didn't count.
well, and those
Yeah.
have very little adult supervision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
a
But they have a lot
chaperone
of,
one
yeah,
time.
and there's
there
a
are
lot
a
of
lot
sex going on those
Oh,
trips.
yeah.
Because there
I
was
mean,
no
I've
adult
heard.
supervision.
I heard that there was a lot going on
Hang on,
in
guys.
these group trips that I was
I have
on.
all the questions for Kayla right now.
Speaking of no adult supervision,
Now the pressure's on.
why are the mothers in these movies so horrible?
Oh,
This is
yeah.
a horrible, horrible mother. She never watches her child. This child makes his own breakfast
And just
He
walks
he
out
makes
the
his own
door.
dinner.
Calls his
He
mom
calls his mom
Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah.
He puts himself to bed.
Yeah.
He can
Like
tie
a-
his own tie.
Yes.
Oh my god!
They do not
I don't
have the
know how to
motor
tie
skills
tie.
for that at that
No,
age,
they don't.
frankly.
Well,
Yeah.
when your child's a 45-year-old man who wears a suit to school, he can do whatever he wants.
He was like the orphan child.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It
he
was
was
very
super
terrifying.
cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a little.
Aloof.
Yeah.
And she's
Hands,
also-
hands
nice
off.
way of saying it. Yeah,
She's-
hands off.
How old do you think she is in this movie? They don't say, but how old do you think she is?
34.
Well,
she's
there was a
early
lot of there were a
30s.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do
There were a lot of
you-
references to,
Because the kid's 6, right?
Something
and they
like
had
that,
him
yeah.
young.
Yeah.
and
Okay, so what?
She's might be late 20s, early 30s.
yeah, you're probably
Yeah,
right.
Do
late
you
20s.
still wear your college like sweaters and stuff that late in
I
life?
still wear a college shirt sometimes.
If
people
you're
do,
really,
yeah.
really proud of your alma mater, people,
Where did you go to
people
school?
do that.
Yeah.
I'm not really proud of where I went to school. I don't really care that much.
Oh,
People
A lot
from
of
your
people
high
do.
school
That's
wear
right.
their shit.
Yeah, we
Man.
got to let you know we're
Really?
smarter
People
than
from
you.
Hume Fog? Were-
Yes.
The person I was thinking about that we were talking about earlier went to high school with you.
Oh,
She
I know.
still wear, like, every time I see her, she
Wow.
wears
High school
she went to
stuff. Oh, really?
Georgetown. She wears
Now,
all
look,
the
I
Georgetown
wear
shit.
stuff like high school stuff or college stuff, but like around the house. Like, I don't wear it out.
Well,
or
in all
like when
fairness,
we
she
have
was wearing it around
college
the
stuff.
house.
And I think
Yeah.
they're trying to say like, oh, she's too much in her head to care about like what she wears. That she's just
Yeah.
kind of like sloppy.
Okay,
just-
because she's
yeah.
definitely too much in her head to,
Yeah.
acknowledge her child.
I didn't really
She
know
just doesn't do.
Right.
She does
Yeah.
not do
She's
that a
like-
lot.
Yeah.
Very, yeah. I think they're supposed to show her as being like kind of a sloppy intellectual style person.
Yeah.
Sloppy
Like,
journalist?
yeah, sloppy
What a trope.
journalist. I
Yeah.
know. How original.
Yeah.
She didn't start caring about her
sloppy
kid until the
journalist.
father started coming around again. She's like, all right, I can do this now.
Oh well, until he watches the tape, she doesn't really care
Right.
too much, and then all of a sudden she's like, "I'm doing this for my son."
I don't
It's
know.
like,
She
oh.
she went to have the conference with the teacher.
Is that overstepping your bounds to talk to the mother of somebody in your class over like the death of a relative? Because
Well, I
she's
think
just
the
like,
reason-
didn't somebody just die recently? Like getting into her business, man.
I mean,
And you know what? Maybe you're right about the irresponsible parent, because the responsible thing to do was for her to go to the teacher and say, "Hey, this somebody that's really important in my kid's life just died. He might be having some issues. Look out for this."
Yeah.
You
But
don't
they
need
did
to wait
reveal
for
that he was sort of writing the creepy, or he was doing the creepy drawings before she died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Didn't
been
they
doing
say
the
that?
creepy
Okay.
drawings for 10
and kids are
years.
like,
doing it for
kids can be
10
kind of
years.
creepy anyway. So there's a certain level where you're like, yeah, whatever. You're
Did you
just
say
a weird
kids are
kid.
creepy anyway?
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, some kids are just creepy.
Some kids can
They
be
all
really
draw
creepy.
things
Yeah.
about people being hung and shot, and I mean, that's what I did as a kid. I'm normal, right?
Like giant dicks
What
on
is
Like,
happening?
and you're like, this is my comic book, and your teacher's like, oh, that's awesome. Go
Oh,
for
yeah.
it. Yeah.
There's a lot of like slow pace, creepy type stuff going on with the two girls for a while. She goes to the refrigerator a lot.
Yeah, well,
and you
yeah.
keep thinking, Todd kept
I
thinking
did
that somebody's
jump
going
at one point because I thought that something was going to happen and it didn't, and I felt like a fool.
Yeah. Oh.
But they're trying to make you think that.
Yeah.
But this
Right.
movie's so much smarter than that. Or at
Than
least
me.
it's making it.
And it's a lot of it is just the atmosphere, you know,
Yes.
like the whole, I don't know what the real words for this are, but it's like the whole movie looks kind of bluish gray, you know,
Yeah, I don't know what they call it, but
like overcast. Like it looks like it's cloudy.
It
Well, they
looks,
are in-
it looks
they are in Seattle.
melancholy.
Melancholy.
yes. Ooh, good.
They are in
one.
Seattle.
Infinite
so-
sadness too, you know.
Yeah, it's just all blue.
Nice.
It's Amber Tamblin's seventh day. The
Yeah.
Yes.
tape cuts back on. It cuts off, or she turns it off. It cuts back on again. And
it's
then,
just static like snow.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
she gets
Then-
the scary face and dies.
Yeah, and well,
How else do you describe it?
She walks into the room and she sees the well on the TV screen, and then it cuts. And I thought this was really smart how they did this too, because we don't actually see her face until the funeral, when we kind of
that
feel
scared
safe, and
the
then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit! there's
Yeah.
like-
Is that the
yes,
part you
that's
said-
the first part that you jumped in.
I
screen.
never
Yeah.
remember when I yelled. No, the first time I jumped was at the fridge.
Oh, yeah, the
I
fridge.
just like jerked back.
And it was like
Oh,
getting all
Dr.
dark and
Pepper.
stormy outside, and Todd got uncomfortable.
when they show her in the closet with the fucked up face. I think I did say something.
Yeah, you did.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't
but
remember what it
probably
was
like
either.
fuck or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that sounded about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like out of nowhere.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the Rachel, the main character, and her sister are just having this normal, it's a very sad conversation.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's just like this terrifying dead face.
Yeah, she doesn't
Yeah,
saw
it's
her
also
face.
revealed in that conversation that her sister is also a shitty mother who didn't pay much attention to
Yeah.
her child.
Yeah.
Although we still have the father who
That's
is
true.
living in the same
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, if you think the
God.
mother's bad, the father is worse.
Poor man's Brecken Meyer here. Martin Henderson, star of Torque
Holy
Or
shit.
are they both?
and Grey's Anatomy.
Are they both the poor man's Breckenmeyer though? Like
It's
I mean, if Brecken Meyer is the
Yeah,
poor
yeah,
man's
yeah.
Brecken Meyer, that's an excellent point.
maybe that's what it is.
He was great in Kate and Leopold.
Oh God.
Hey, in all
I just
fairness,
did that to see the facial expression of Jennifer.
Were you rewarded?
I like that movie. Y'all can eat a dick.
It is a good movie.
I don't necessarily think Naomi Watts is a bad parent in this movie.
No, she definitely is.
So we're about to this point anyway, so I have a question. What was the deal with him running into his dad on the street? Like, you remember when the kid was walking
she
to
called
school
the
or
dad
something?
over to ask him about the tape.
Okay, but so they run into each other on the
Yes.
street,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird.
It's like they awkwardly bumped into each other in the
so
hallway
they
when
kind of
like
know
one
each
of
other.
them-
Like clearly
I
he
think
knows that's
yes.
probably his son.
does, yeah.
And
But does he know he's his father at that point?
well, I think the
think so.
characters know that this is true, but we don't.
Yeah,
yet.
we don't know.
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
not until the kid watches the tape when she calls and she's like, "Our son,"
Right,
watched this."
right.
Like, and then we're like, "Oh shit!" Like they're related to each other.
Yeah, so
But
it's
the
just kind of
characters
this,
know.
this
Yeah.
moment of weirdness.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
kid's just
Who
kind of
lets their
weird.
kid walk to school in the rain by themselves?
nobody.
You just
And
said
it was like
Naomi Watts
downtown
is a good
Seattle
mom.
too, so I
I
didn't
don't think
Yeah.
she's the worst mom.
I think she's raised an independent, well-adjusted
she
child,
has. Yeah.
and
I
that's
think
okay.
that
She
child
didn't
has
throw him in a
raised an
well,
independent
so-
child.
Yeah.
has
In
murdered
spite
some
of her,
pets.
maybe he's fine.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
kid is like, you guys kept talking about how cute he was. He is too creepy for me.
He is a
for
little
me
too
to think
creepy.
he's cute.
He's a little
Yeah,
creepy.
He's like one of those cutes that's so extremely cute that you know that they're going to murder somebody.
they're gonna murder
one day.
somebody.
They're too
like the Omen
suspiciously
kid.
cute. Yeah,
yeah,
suspicious.
It's a thing.
Yo,
but
he
he
can get it. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Pet Cemetery Kid.
Oh no, I'm out. That movie broke me when I was a kid.
That movie's so good because it fucks you up on so many different levels in different
know.
ways throughout the
Really?
course of
Yeah,
your
that
life.
movie's good for you.
Because
It
it's
makes
so
him
good.
wonderful.
It's
Remake
cathartic.
coming.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I'm
Yes,
out.
I am too.
I'm out.
So the mom's like, can you investigate because I don't know what killed my daughter. And then we find out that all three of the other people died too.
Right, because
at the
she does
same
some
time.
journalisting.
Yeah, some journalisting.
Yes, she's
So
very
she
good
finds
as a
out
journalist.
everyone in the cabin that had gone up to the cabin.
Yeah.
Her niece?
Yes.
Her niece.
Her
yes.
niece and the three of the people that were there died at 10 p.m. that same night.
Yes, one in a car crash and one in
It was 2 in a car crash.
2 in a car crash. You're right.
Yeah,
one
and
of the things was a car crash.
One fell from a high rise or something.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
it technically
Yes.
could have been a suicide, but it was ringed.
He got ringed, like you said earlier.
Yeah, he got ringed.
He got ringed.
That's suspicious. And yeah, somebody was saying like if 4 people in your high school die at the same time on the same night,
Why is there not a detective
Exactly.
investigating all these
Absolutely.
not
Right.
murders, but accidents, quote unquote?
yeah,
Right.
it's like
I mean,
the same
at
level
least-
of investigation as urban legend.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't even like you didn't even see anything. You didn't even see anybody
Shoddy
talking about
work.
it at the high school. We don't see this high school at all.
Yeah,
No.
which I'm okay with.
I
don't
think
need
that's helpful because
Yeah.
otherwise we
To
get into
just
like
not see it.
it makes it
Yeah.
teeny
Because
bopper
the
sort
story
of thing.
doesn't
Yeah.
follow the teens anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because all the
That's
teens,
true.
it's like a closed loop. All the teens that saw
Is
it
it
died.
Is it like a ring?
It's, oh, God.
There are so
Oh,
many
God, a
rings.
closed loop is
There's
a
a ring
ring.
behind you.
7 days.
You know, one of the sequels to Ring, the book is called Loop,
I'm out.
and another is Spiral.
She asked her ex-boyfriend or whatever
She asked him
help.
to, yeah. Oh, no. She had figured out about the 4 high school students.
Right, that they had all come.
Yes.
And then so
died.
she went and found out that they all 4 stayed at the same place, and she saw the
Right.
pictures and their faces were all screwy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so then she went to the Shelter Island Inn, the creepiest looking building you've ever seen.
And the guy who was learning close-up card magic.
Yeah, the super creepy
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Is it- he was just going to go
Creepy
through
or
all
just a
52
shitty Chris
cards.
Angel? Like, he just couldn't do cards.
Can we talk before that, like in between these scenes? Can we talk about how like she just blows off her editor? Like she
Oh, yeah.
goes to
Oh,
she
yeah.
goes to work and the editor's like, "What are you working on?" She's like, "Not now, Stan,"
Yeah.
or something. And he's like, "No, but seriously, what are you working on?" And she like literally with her hand blows him off.
Yeah.
like just like shoo.
I
He's
think
like,
I
"You're
think it'll blow
fired," and
you off
she's
at the
like, "No,
hand.
I'm not."
I
I
should have
said
said
shoos
Yeah.
him off.
Yeah.
Blows him off. Just sounds dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you blow someone off with their hand, it's a hand job.
Yeah.
Nailed it. That's how she keeps her job.
I'm gonna try that once. Be like, can you blow me off?
Do you like
He's
Clint,
like, "You're fired," and
that's
she's
not
like,
gonna
"No, I'm
work.
not."
Yeah. Interested to see how that turns out.
Single. Ladies. I mean, I am too. That's fine.
No. Yeah, so she goes to the inn and he does not guess her card, but she sees the little tape in the corner.
Yes.
Yes, she's
Yeah.
got some good instincts when she sees the
That's
tape.
the only tape that's not labeled.
And
True.
she sees the tree, right?
She
The
does
tree
because it's
that,
up on the hill.
Yes.
Yes.
And what they said too was the TVs don't work there. They get bad reception, so that's why
Well,
he has all those VHSs.
Like cable TV, they don't get that. Like the TVs work fine if you have VHS.
Right,
Yeah.
but they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
they just keep going to snow all the time, and then
Right.
there's this weird ring on them. Okay, so this was 2002. Were people still watching VHSs back
Yes.
then?
Oh yeah.
That
Absolutely.
was just when DVD. I mean, like DVD first came out. I want to say in 2000. Yeah,
Twister.
It was probably still
Twister's my first DVD. That came out in '96. Let's get our years straight
Oh,
here.
sorry.
Gladiator. I think.
What is happening?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
remember
not
Gladiator
entertained?
being the first like new movie to come out on DVD that it just came out that year. So I'm pretty sure 2000 was when.
Okay.
Noise.
But it's probably still really expensive by then to buy like a DVD player
Yeah. Oh, I'm
and
sure it
DVDs
was.
because you're like, I spent my whole life collecting VHSs.
Right.
Why would I switch over?
No, you're right, because I did have a VHS shelf in my dorm room, I think. Urban Legend and H2O were up there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's
you had
awesome.
a VHS? Oh, wow.
And Jaws,
Okay.
like
I
a
did too.
double box
Everybody had
of
a VHS
Jaws
collection.
and
Nice.
Titanic.
I
You were
think.
popular, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had
You
all
were
my
not.
Disney movies
You're
too.
popular.
But and then Laserdisc was making a thing for a
Oh,
little bit
man.
too, like the giant ones.
I
Little
just
bit.
remember that at
Little bit.
school though, not really so much like.
oh my
Oh,
God.
speaking of, okay, so she watches the tape
Yes.
and it's terrifying.
She gets
Yeah.
the phone call.
Yes.
Yeah, 7
Yes. The
days.
that
He was-
tape is so scary.
It's Powers Booth voice on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
7 days. I'm Powers Booth and you have 7 days.
Still not Powers Booth's voice.
100%
wrong.
It's 100% Powers Booth. I'm Powers Booth. I'm just doing callbacks to like the fucking Frailty episode.
Just
We'll just start
we watched a
playing
little
the
movie
box.
called Tangents.
Oh God! So she watches the movie. It's
watches
very
the movie,
scary. She
yes.
gets a phone call. 7 days, and then
Yeah.
The journalism stretch starts. Where
Yes.
it's
Yes.
like
Where she
I was
goes-
talking about this earlier. Like I do not remember this movie being this boring. I was bored.
Oh, I wasn't.
Like I don't
It's
ever. I don't
atmosphere
ever.
building.
I don't ever give a shit about the exposition in these movies. Like I don't care about the little girl's story.
Yeah, you
I
said
just
that.
want people to be scared. And I feel like there was a huge there was like a 45-minute stretch where nothing scary happened. It's just you're supposed to be, as an audience member, interested in what she's investigating.
Well,
in.
yeah, because they're building to something that will make it more scary. You
There
know?
are like constant clues
I don't
that
know.
she's getting. Like it's
Yeah.
not like, I'll go Google and then find out one thing, and now I know everything I need to know about
Right.
this.
If by
like,
Google, you
little
mean
bit.
go to the library.
That's
Yeah.
how
Oh,
it should
true.
be.
That's where she went.
And that's my
need about 10
favorite.
minutes.
My
Yes.
favorite horror movie thing is when they go to the library.
I
to
love the
investigate.
library.
I
She
love
had a
it.
journalism montage. A journalism montage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
The
can-
ring.
We were talking about boring
Rings.
journalism.
Oh yeah, she went to the
Journalism.
library. Yes, I
She
love
does,
it.
and she gets the old newspapers out, which I love too.
She goes into the paper stacks room and just starts
Yes.
going through all the stacks.
does.
She does
She's
eventually
learning.
get to the internet. Like there were like a couple of web pages she looked
Yeah,
at the
man.
very end of her journalism.
Yeah.
And it was
Oh, man.
like
It's the
they were
good
like
old
Angel
days
Fire pages.
when the
Right.
internet was the last resource. You're
Yeah.
like, oh well, I couldn't find it in a book, so I guess I'll have to go to the internet. That's the good old days.
I mean, nowadays, all you have to do is what is the ending to the ring, and it would just bring it up.
yeah.
she'd be like, oh,
Who's
the,
the
girl in the well, I
killer?
got it. All right.
Yeah, done. Spoiler.
But you used to have to like pay a janitor and go in after hours and like go through all this.
It's always somebody that lives on a creepy island that
Mm-hmm.
she eventually gets to, and that's why she hasn't really. That's why there's not a lot of press surrounding like what happened.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you
So
know.
what does she find when she's at the library? She finds out because
She finds the lighthouse.
She's seen the lighthouse.
Yeah, she finds the lighthouse in the book, and
Yeah.
that's why she goes out to the island.
Did we
and
say
then-
that she'd already made the copy?
She makes the copy and shows it to
The
ex,
dad,
whoever.
The
yeah.
ex, yeah.
Because
And
that's when she
so-
finds out about the lighthouse.
Yes, oh,
Because
that's
she
right.
can move the image
Right,
over.
right,
That's right.
So,
Well,
she
and then she
goes to
picks the fly
him
off the screen.
because he's some sort of like video editor or something.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
she's like, "Can you find out where this tape originally
Right.
came from?" I was like, "Why don't you? You're
He's
a
like,
journalist."
there's no credits
He's
on
a
it,
trust
so
fund
no.
baby video editor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
with
he
a
lives in
massive
the
apartment.
world's biggest apartment.
He's got like
it's
the
like
sweetest like bachelor loft ever. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
with, like,
and he
chain
has an
link fence.
assistant
Yeah.
who's younger, whom he's clearly banging,
Yeah.
and she has a problem with this.
he just needs to grow up.
He
Is what
does
she
need to
says.
grow up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she's an investigative journalist, but she's like, I want you to go figure this out, video editor.
Yeah, and then
Go
she
figure it
immediately
out.
figures it out herself. I
Right.
think she just wanted to see the dad again.
Yeah, he does help a little. Like he's
hair is
somewhat
perfect.
productive. Yeah,
He does.
he's very
He's
Okay.
wearing
handsome.
fucking flip flops in the rain. I cannot live.
Like
that,
Old
what is
Navy
happening?
flip-flops.
That's why he needs to
Yeah.
grow up, Todd.
Like $7 flip flops.
Right.
The only time you wear flip flops in the rain is when you're at your gym shower.
Well, they
Yeah.
didn't have Crocs back then. What's he supposed to wear?
Yeah.
Shoes
He's
like
spent
a
all his-
man.
I like
think
flip
that's
flops.
okay.
He
Yeah.
spent all his money on the chain link fence in his apartment.
wear
Though,
That's
so
right.
He couldn't
Shoes,
afford
right?
and all
any
his video
flip-flops.
equipment.
I am wearing
Right,
summer
right.
shoes right
Those
now,
things
like
are
a man.
expensive. Yeah.
Like Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Benny
And the Jets.
Sandlot's back in theaters this week. Yep.
Oh,
Totally going.
That's very exciting.
Totally
Are you
going.
still doing that? See, now I
Okay.
can't edit because there's continuous noise.
What is it? Stop that.
Like you do any editing.
So
You guys are adorable. It's
I
weird having
decide
two
to
girls in
pretend
here.
to stop. Oh, is it?
Yeah, because normally Clint and I can like team up on you.
Okay, yeah, no. I was like, please don't finish that sentence.
don't do it.
Normally
do
we
it,
can just
yeah.
double team you if nobody else is here.
Yeah.
Power H.
Wow.
I think it's called Golden Gate.
I love you so fucking much.
Danny.
Guys, if you don't get our joke, if we're not hilarious to you right now, listen to the old episodes.
So meanwhile,
Yeah, that's the
Meanwhile-
reason that we're not hilarious.
what is the ex doing at this point? Like, what is the first thing he goes to investigate? I can't remember.
Well, they go and together they at his place are finding out like that you can move the image. And
Yeah.
they fight over who's going to move it or whatever.
And their little
then they
cute
break
little
it.
flirting
And then-
thing.
cutesy, yeah.
And that's when new girlfriend walks in and like power kisses him on the cheek to like
Yeah.
mark her territory.
It's a power move.
Yeah,
It is a power
dominate.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that, man.
What
Lock
is
it
she?
down.
Yeah, he does a lot of like the. I'm assuming he's supposed to be doing video work while she's doing other things, but
Yeah,
he
but
doesn't
he's
seem
really-
to have like any
Because he thinks she's full
ideas.
of shit.
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
She immediately figures
Because
this thing out.
Like a man, he's like, "Oh, this is so dumb,"
Yeah.
and then she's like on a mission.
It's that Jessica Simpson thing, though. You know, like you've probably done this too. When you pretend to not be good at something, so you can like make a guy feel better about himself, and like
Oh yeah, I
Jessica
used,
Simpson really does that.
I used to do that back
I
in
really
the
thought
day.
she was just
Yeah.
bad
no,
at
but
everything.
people imitate that because she gets a
Yes.
lot of attention from being an idiot.
Right,
I used to call that the
Chicken
Jessica
of the
Simpson.
sea, I know.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah. Like I secretly know how to edit all this stuff. I just
Do
want
you
you to
want
feel
to do
better
it?
about yourself.
It takes me like fucking.
I don't know how to do it.
I guess I'm just no good at
Can you
it.
open this
You're
pickle
so-
jar for me?
Yeah.
You're so big
Just
and
kidding, I don't
strong
even
and
like pickles.
handsome. I know.
Well, not those.
Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate the
Yeah.
compliments.
What?
Nothing. Kayla's just complimenting me over here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
worry
I'm
about
sorry.
it. It's okay.
He's not
We
used
have
to,
opposite
he's not used to
styles.
compliments, Kayla.
I'm not used to
He's
compliments.
used to being shit on by the two of us. That's Jen and I Power.
That's true.
What is
That's
it?
how
Power
Power
H.
Power H. Yeah, I get Power H by Jenn and Clint.
Oh,
we
Power
call
H
it
Down
feelings.
to
We call it Golden
Pound
Glen. Yeah.
What movie are we talking about?
Oh, yeah.
This is the only part of recording day I like is the actual recording of the podcast.
Because then you have to go back and cut all of this shit out.
No, I hate
when
the
you hate
actual
movies.
movies. Like the movies
Yeah.
fucking suck.
You were really scared in this movie.
Yeah,
it
you
is.
were
I
very
was so
uncomfortable
scared I
with-
beat Kayla with the
Right.
Was this
Okay.
worse than Hereditary for you,
No.
or Freddy versus
Oh,
Jason?
really?
No, I
Okay.
stood-
I was wondering if this
Do
would
you
be the
not remember?
scariest.
I was sitting next to you, so I'm sure you remember. But when in Hereditary, when the very last big scene, when he the son is the he I'm referring to there goes down and sees his dad charcoal.
Spoilers
on the
for
ground.
Hereditary.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already spoiled it.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, but we don't know if they've listened to that episode.
well, then that's
Hey,
on
go
them.
listen to it.
That is on
It's
them.
funny.
So, and then his mom's behind him of the upper hand corner of the living
Yeah.
room or whatever, and then he sees naked guy, and the perspective
Naked old
shifts to
penis.
naked old guy, right? And then it cuts back to the same camera angle, but the mom's no longer in the corner, and then he turns around and she's in the corner of the next to the fireplace and starts charging at him with the music goes nuts or whatever. I stood up and yelled "fuck" at the screen.
That's true.
funny.
That was the scariest I've ever been in a
I
movie.
thought that was somebody's child.
No, that was-
down because I was on the other end of the aisle.
That was me.
I was trapped in my own
That's the
sorrow.
most scared I've
Just
ever
Todd.
been in a movie theater.
Wow. So this movie wasn't as scary.
But
No.
if you had seen
Okay.
this in the movie theater, you might have thought.
I mean, I
That's
was
true.
scared. I mean,
That's
I
true.
was scared.
This is what
Here.
I said was my scariest movie for a long time, and I
I know.
kind of
A
retired a
lot
while
of
ago.
people feel that way
Yeah.
even to this day.
Because
I
it's
find
really
it's really
uncomfortable.
scary.
Yeah,
It
I
I think
thought,
a lot of people just watch The Ring and they're like, I'm not watching horror movies anymore. Fuck
right,
it.
Yeah, done.
And that's why it's the scariest to them.
Yeah.
I did not find this movie very scary.
And I think
I got
one
thoughts
of,
about
there are
why.
a few parts in the movie that reiterate its point, like when she is standing on the porch and she's looking at everyone's apartments and sees TVs everywhere, and that's when you're thinking, oh God, there's TVs everywhere.
Right.
She could come get me at any time.
yeah,
that's
yeah.
kinda how
There
I
are a
felt.
lot of TVs
Yeah.
around too, and then when
Yes.
they're in the asylum and she walks with the screen in front of her so she doesn't
Yeah.
see the TV.
Well, that was the girl who was with Amber. Is it Amber Tamlin?
Yes.
yeah.
The,
Yes.
Joan of Arcadia or whatever. That's the girl who was there when she died.
Right,
So
right.
she didn't see the tape. She didn't die, but she lost her fucking mind because,
Right.
what she saw or whatever.
Yeah.
So when we left off, when we were talking about the synopsis of the movie, she was on her way out to Shutter Island or whatever the island
Yeah,
is,
she was
right?
going out to Shelter
I
Island.
love Shutter Island.
Whatever.
Yeah, I do
I've never
too.
seen
Oh, yeah,
Shutter
that's a
Island.
good
That
one.
exists. Anyway, so her and Leonardo DiCaprio are going out to Shutter Island. I've seen the trailer, guys.
This is
I
a
know-
poor
I know
man's
very little
Leonardo
about it.
DiCaprio.
Anyway, so she's on the ferry by herself.
Yes.
Right? And then she sees the horse
Oh, God.
and starts trying to molest the horse.
This
The horse
scene
is
is
like, no
awful.
means no.
Yeah.
And then it loses its mind and kicks its way out of the thing it's in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like
that's-
chases people
Because
around.
That's
she
horrible to
she
watch.
Me Too's the horse too. Like she pets it and the horse is freaking out, and then she doesn't want she won't just back up. Like
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
this horse is not into this.
No,
keeps
it's
In
talking
awful.
every
to it.
Ring movie, there's a scene like this. In the second one, there's one with deer, and
Oh, really?
deer
Oh.
start attacking her and her son.
What?
It's
Is it the
intense.
same mom and
What?
son?
That's like the best. The second one isn't very good, but that's a
I
great
don't think
scene
I've seen
in it.
that one.
Spoiler
I'd like to
alerts.
watch it now since we just.
Anyway,
I know,
so
I'm
the-
kind of
the-
interested now.
The
Yeah.
horse is like running around the ferry and then jumps off the front of the ferry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then gets.
sucked
bonks
into the
its legs
propellers.
too.
Oh, that was
Oh,
so.
yeah.
It's just
was
so
this movie
brutal.
PETA cleared? Doing? Is there a?
I'm
She
sure
just
they-
can't get away with this stuff anymore.
That
No.
horse was
you
super
know?
animated when it's in the water.
Yeah, I'm
though.
sure
So,
they didn't
yeah.
murder a horse
was-
for the movie.
They murdered
Super
a snake for Friday the 13th.
That's Friday the 13th.
right in
Nobody
front of
gives
its
a fuck
owner.
about
It was
Yeah.
just so sad.
Yeah.
Snakes need
so
to die.
depressing.
Whatever.
Yeah, snakes are the worst.
Horses
But yeah,
are
because
angels.
I was going to say the little girl from the Ring, the little girl from the movie we're talking about had that history of bothering horses and
Yeah.
making them terrified. So I'm sure that curse
Oh.
has
Right.
transferred and that makes the horses nervous.
Yeah,
I
got
didn't
Yeah.
pick up on
Yeah.
that.
I got that
Because
too.
she,
all.
all the
Yeah.
horses died when they adopted her,
Yes.
right? Like their horses started dying.
They went crazy and
so
started
the
dying,
reason
yeah.
they're going to the island is because they found out they saw this lighthouse, and they
lighthouse, yeah.
found out this one woman killed herself, and they were had bred horses, and then the horses all started dying,
Yeah.
and that's why they're going out to the island.
Yeah,
Maybe
they don't
the
even know
horses are
about
allergic
the-
to humans for once.
maybe they're allergic
They don't
to
even know
love.
about the little girl yet, really.
When you said little girl, I thought you were going to talk about the one little girl who was an extra that was screaming when the horse died.
because that was her horse.
She had a really good scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the
she's-
father
yeah,
just
sounded
let her
very
watch all
professional.
that.
right.
I know. It's like,
I think the father was
So
hoping
mean.
like
You
the
need to
horse
see
would
this.
come out okay on the other side and
Yeah,
fly
they
up
all
back
run to
onto
the back and they're like, well, did it live? Did it live? And you just see this blood come up by
no.
the propellers.
Propellers
Even
got
if
that.
it
So brutal.
didn't get cut up by the propellers, it probably drowned.
yeah.
I'm sure it would have. I mean, horses
Yeah.
can swim, but I don't think they can swim long distances.
I don't know.
And that was pretty
Can
crazy
horses
water.
swim
a man from
all?
Snowy River
'Cause I'm
horse
thinking
can
no.
swim.
I think they can.
I think
Yeah.
they can.
Let me Google.
Or is it more like
That's
just
a really good-
standing?
to
And
the
we need to
Google.
watch City city slickers
Horses
again.
can
This
swim.
is a ridiculous
Yes,
question.
horses swim, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like if anybody can answer this question, it's Billy Crystal.
Jack Palance, he's the one who really knows.
Yeah, confidence.
Isn't Billy Crystal the city slicker? So he doesn't know anything.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not the only one, but
I think the only one I've seen is City Slickers 2.
What?
so
Wow.
you've never seen a good city
No, I
Slickers
haven't. That's
movie.
why I hate that.
Slitty
Yeah,
Slickers?
you got to do it.
I cannot talk today.
That's because you didn't rap
Jen,
like
you've
I
been feeding
did.
me health food all day.
You need some anxiety oil.
So I mean, that horse would have died, like because
Yeah.
it got sucked under the boat anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm
So
sure it
sad.
would have drowned.
And it bonked its leg, so it wouldn't have been able to kick.
Yeah, so sad.
Because it bonked its leg.
It did.
Bonked its
It's a nicer way of saying its back legs were broken
Yeah,
in the
so
fall.
it definitely does.
That's why I
Anyway,
said
so she
definitely
gets to
does.
the island.
Yes, she gets out.
And then when
to
she's on the island, she is like interviewing people from the island and like asking them questions.
She goes
and then,
to
Yeah.
creepy dad first.
Yeah,
She
she goes
spends a
creepy dad.
huge
Yeah.
chunk of the movie on this island. Like,
Yeah.
this is a
She
good 30
does.
minutes.
Yeah.
What
Being
day
a
are we on at
journalist.
this point?
I think
we're
on
late.
4, 5?
Like we're on 6 maybe.
I thought it
are
was
we?
6 too.
Yeah.
those
She's
days come up pretty quick.
Yeah,
They do.
Because the next day was a day. Yeah, the
Yeah,
next
because
day
she spends like an
She-
entire day like trying to figure out the lighthouse thing, and then a whole day at the library, and then
I mean, yeah.
you know,
So
whole day
she goes
flirting
to
with dad.
she goes to the dad first.
Yeah.
Brian
Dad to dad.
Cox?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brian
Brian
Cox.
Poor
And he-
man's Rip Torn.
And he basically like tells her to get out. He doesn't want to talk about his wife
Like,
or
who are you, lady?
Yeah.
Get off my porch.
And she's
Get
like,
off
"What about
my
your
lawn."
daughter?" And
never
he's
had a
like, "I
daughter."
don't have a daughter."
Yeah.
There definitely were some moments where they kept cutting down to his hands or whatever he had in his hands. Like he was
I know,
gonna
I
like
saw
that.
either hit her or stab her. Like at one point he
Yeah.
had like a what do you
It
call
was
it?
it was the thing you pick up big bales of hay with. I don't know
Yeah,
what they're called.
a hay hook.
a hook.
Sort of
Yeah.
A hay hook.
Yeah.
Thank you. Whatever they used on I
It's a
know what
hay
you did
hook.
last summer. I don't
Yeah.
come
Spoiler
at
alert.
us, Philippines.
Yeah.
Oh come on, everybody.
You don't know there's a hook.
Everybody
and I
knows
know
there's a
what you
fucking
did.
fisherman with a hook
Oh
in
my
that movie,
goodness.
except you.
Todd.
I've never.
Because you have no life. See how I
He's
reversed?
too,
See
too
how I
busy
reversed
watching
that
Kate and
there?
Leopold.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Checking
Kate
it for plot holes.
Flipped it, reversed it.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm sad. You guys are dicks. All right.
yeah. So, and that's foreshadowing.
It is because he does
bonks her with
slap
something.
the shit out of her later in
Yeah.
the movie.
I mean, she did
Yeah.
kind of break into his house.
She did.
I mean,
and start
fair
going through his
enough.
personal.
Can we talk about how
documents.
she's kind of a bad journalist too? Like the way she talks to people is just like, "What the fuck do
Yeah.
you know?" Like she's just like doesn't
Yeah.
know how to get
She doesn't
people
finesse
to,
it very well. Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
She's not listening to the guidance that her editor is giving her about how to work people and get information.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
She does
Well,
a
but
good job talking to the little island doctor, who
She
seems
does.
very willing to talk. So
Maybe
that's
she
helpful.
just doesn't like people mansplaining things to her.
I think that's got to be it.
Yeah.
This
She's like,
doctor
yeah.
is
I relate better to a woman.
more than willing to give way too much information. Like she'll ask
Yeah.
her one question about it, and she's like, "Let me tell you about my life for 10
You're
minutes."
right.
Yeah.
Is this the doctor who was like
Why they
arguing
never
with her
clear?
husband?
This is the
Yes,
doctor.
yes. Like
wait.
you're old, you can't get anybody else.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot about
We
that
haven't
part.
had
yeah.
sex in years.
Yeah.
That shit made me laugh. Who was taking care of her autistic grandson? I'm assuming autistic. He had some
Yeah.
cognitive
Grandson with
disabilities,
autism.
Yeah.
They didn't clarify what type of doctor she was.
They didn't, and she,
I think she's
really
just GP, like
right.
general kind of
Because
doctor.
they're on an island, like it's a small island, and
She's
she's like,
got to do everything probably.
Because it sounded
yeah.
like
Yeah.
she was their shrink.
because when one
but
person gets a cold on an island, everybody gets one.
It's everybody's cold.
It's our cold.
Oh my
got that
God.
Aaron Kruger
I loved
right in that screenplay.
I loved all the stuff about like stuff being viral. Like if there's a cold on the islands, everyone's cold.
Yeah.
And it spreads like a virus.
Well, and that's the
and-
theme too, because
so cool.
yeah, that's how it's the ring.
It's all
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah, spiral loop.
So smart.
Make a copy.
I don't make a copy and show it to someone else.
STD.
What is? You
Don't
just
worry
say,
about
did
it.
you make a copy of your STD?
Yeah, that anxiety oil is kicking in.
By
There are multiple
anxiety oil,
warnings
she means.
that she needs to get the
I
fuck
mean-
off this island.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
like, I'm good. I'm going to keep investigating.
right.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
where my
Well,
child
yeah.
is right now, but,
so boyfriend is like trying to break into some records places
Yeah.
on the island too, right?
And
Yeah.
he
oh, but he's not on the
cleverly-
island, is
No,
he?
no,
I thought
no,
that was
no.
on
Is he
the
not? Is he on the
mainland.
mainland?
And then he
He's on the
goes to the
mainland, yeah.
island later.
Yeah.
Catches
Just in
catches that
time.
midnight ferry ride.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Just in time to
They
save her.
They had to shut the ferry down though because of
I don't know
all
that
the
she needed
horse
to be
parts.
saved.
So they had to.
He
It
definitely
ran
did
late.
save
They
her.
usually pause those sorts of things for a while if there's some sort of
If there's a horrific horse death,
right.
But I love that during the horse death, like the little girl starts screaming, and then it cuts to like the like a very far away shot of like the ferry, and the ferry screaming as well.
yeah, yeah.
It was like she was like, ah! And then I kept like, ah! I was like, oh, the ferry's sad too.
It is. is. We're all sad. That horse. But yeah, he like cleverly finds out where the records are by saying, "Oh, it's upstairs, right?"
Yeah, I've been up to the records room before. Just let me in. He's like, "Well, that's very stupid. You don't know whether it's downstairs.
Here it is, and it's in this room, and you'll never get into it without these keys."
And he's like, "Yeah, but I have a crowbar friend."
No, he says, you got me. And then he like Scooby runs out and like goes down the steps with his
And I
crowbar.
use my chiseled jawline to open this door.
Right. And his hair that falls over his face. That's what he kind of
Just, like,
rubs on it to get it all greasy.
Yeah. And yeah, he's doing good journalism too down in that records room. He finds like those creepy
He's actually
X-rays.
breaking into records rooms instead of breaking into people's houses on a creepy
What
island.
I don't
Right.
understand is what he figures out there.
He gets the weird X-rays like
Yeah.
that she's burned with her mind
Yeah.
onto the
her brain picture X-rays.
because she can use her mind to like burn shit.
Yeah, and we see
Oh, I
her
thought
birth
she just-
No, the birth certificate was in the box. But
And
yeah.
creepy things are happening to him too.
Oh, he
like
finds out
weird
that the mom had
insects or-
miscarriages.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Yes.
there are insects.
Yeah, like
and
weird
centipedes.
insects show up. He has nosebleeds, and so he starts to figure out,
Yeah.
okay, she's probably
I
telling
believe
the
you.
truth. Yeah, I believe
Well,
you.
the nosebleeds are one of the, like, for lack of a better term, ring sign. Like
Yeah.
if you've seen the ring, like you get
A
nosebleeds,
symptom.
you get the bruise in your arm, you get all that shit, right? So yeah, it's a symptom. No ring sign. Oh my god, it's ring sign. It's like some like mythology.
It's coming
built
down with a
around
bad
it.
case
Fuck,
of a
this is the
ring
worst.
sign.
I still got Dune on the mind.
Oh man,
like
you're
a
a
thing.
dude.
Dune's a solid series, guys.
I've
Check
never
it out.
seen it.
So
Jane's
meanwhile,
McAvoy.
she grows some kahunas and decides I'm going to go back to Brian Cox's house and
Yeah.
just break into
Well,
his house.
okay, there was no breaking, but there was entering. The door was unlocked and
that's
open.
true.
She knocks and the door is open.
It's like the house was asking for.
yeah. Okay,
I mean, he was about
What
to
was
kill
that house
himself anyway,
wearing?
Yeah.
so who cares if the door's locked? Because he's upstairs collecting every electronic in
Yeah.
the house
Oh, yeah.
and wire.
Yeah,
Right.
and the tub is on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, he set up for a fucking rock concert, and he's like, oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, he slaps the shit out of her first. I guess we
Oh,
skipped
yeah.
that part.
Open to his house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's watching
She's watching-
videos. They're like sort of like video records of her progress in
Yes.
the asylum or whatever.
Yes, an interview with her where she said like she can't help it because one thing that we have heard when she was talking to the psychiatrist lady was that the mom who was Brian Cox's wife had started to come see her because she was getting these pictures in her mind that she couldn't get out, and it seemed to happen when Samara was around. So that's when we start to realize that Samara is not your ordinary child,
Right.
Okay.
and was causing problems. And then she also said, things on the island got a lot better once Samara was gone. I can't remember
Yes.
if they said if she was dead or not.
Okay, but
I
at
think it was
this
just
point,
gone.
Naomi
Yeah.
Watts, she just believes, this is like a shitty father that
Yeah.
just locked her up or
Yes.
something.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That they don't understand her.
I think at
Yeah.
that point she assumes that it was a shitty father who sent her daughter away to an asylum.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
that's what it looks like because they're in an asylum when they're interviewing her and stuff
yeah,
like that.
and she's
so,
like,
yeah.
he's not coming back for me. I think
Right.
they
Right,
said.
Daddy doesn't
Leave
love me.
me.
Right,
Daddy's-
right.
yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Yeah. So she starts feeling like serious like empathy for this little girl.
Right,
Probably
right.
relates her to her own son who's like kind of a creepy, misunderstood weirdo kid.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if she took
Definitely.
care of her real kid, but
Right.
whatever.
She wanted a
whatever.
girl.
But she's got like a kind of motherly instinct for
Yeah.
little Samara.
Yes.
Yeah, she does.
She does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and sad for the mom.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, Clint, I love you so much. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
They go back to her being a little
It's
like the
single
kid is the
ladies.
only one. Her kid's the only one that has it figured out. He's like, you did what now?
Right.
You helped the crazy little girl
Well, that
causing all
doesn't
the.
happen yet. That doesn't
No,
happen
it hasn't.
yet.
We're skipping.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
skipping.
So-
So Martin Henderson shows up.
Whoa.
No. He
No.
goes. He's got every electronic appliance that he has.
right.
Oh, he
Bathtub.
smacks her in the head.
Yeah, he
Yeah, with
smacks the shit out of her.
The horse like mouth thing. What is
Yeah,
that called?
the bridle.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Well, no,
big.
he puts that in his own mouth.
Well,
yeah.
he hits her with it first, and then
Oh, does he? I didn't
smacks
see
her.
that,
That's what he
yeah.
smacks her with.
Why didn't he
So
just
it
kill
hurts.
her if he's going upstairs to kill
He's not-
himself?
It does seem like a weird time to go downstairs and slap the shit out of
I
somebody.
don't
Like,
think that he's like a super evil person.
No.
I just think that he's like
It seemed
scared
like-
and mad.
She was
you know?
not
I
It
don't think
seemed
he would,
like it seemed
beat
like
her.
she was just like in his way to get the TV. That's
Right,
what he
he
came
wanted the
downstairs
TV.
for.
Yeah.
he
I
was
think that's
closing all
pretty
his
much it.
electronics. You're right. You're right. He's like, well, I just got the microwave, so the TV's next. I
Right.
see you in there.
Like, get
I'm
the
taking
fuck
that
out of
TV.
my! I need my '70s TV.
I want my NT.
I seriously thought he was going upstairs to just watch HBO or something. Like I didn't know what was happening.
I need my HBO Go log in.
It's like I was just about to jerk it, and you're in here now.
No, after he
He had
slapped,
his VHS porn collection in his hand. That's what he smacked her with.
She has to dig through the porn box before she gets like the Samara psychiatric.
It's like, why is this sticky?
there was the box of all the records next to the TV, and then a box of pornography right next to it. Oh my
Viscous
god!
It's so funny if she was just like,
I'm
dear
so glad
God.
the internet exists.
You know,
No one will ever know now.
Yeah.
you know, if Brian Cox is in a movie, some creepy shit's going down at like some asylum or something. That's
Yeah.
like the role he always plays.
Or
It's like
an
X-Men.
Undertaker thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a coroner.
If you haven't seen, he is in
Yeah.
X-Men. Yeah, so he's got everything in his bathtub, and she like steps in the water at some point, and I kept
Well, yeah,
thinking she
because
was going to
the
get
bathtub
electrocuted.
is completely fold.
Fold.
Guys, fold is a word. The bathtub.
Bullet.
Yeah,
Bullet
so the
house.
bathtub is
There's
the
water in it, guys.
The bathtub be full of shit, and then it's spilling over onto the
Different
floor
kind.
too. Yeah, it's not actual shit. The bathtub is full of water, and the water is spilling over onto the floor. So when she steps into the bathroom, which is a little bit of a sunken bathroom, she steps in it and then steps out of it because she's like, "Oh, this guy's got all electronics in the house in here."
I had a sinking feeling about it.
Yeah,
I stole your joke.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
and then he kills himself.
Yeah, by
right in front of her.
like he puts the thing in his mouth, and then he flips the switch on the power strip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just-
And then
Pretty
they didn't show
intense.
as much of that as I thought they were going to, and I
Apparently,
was very
something
grateful for
got
that.
cut out. They had some more
Thank
graphic
God.
footage.
Yeah,
and it got cut.
PG-13. I mean, this was
Yeah.
we were talking about this earlier. This started the PG-13 horror picture
Yeah.
because it was rare to have horror
Right.
as a PG-13
And
before that.
what does it say about this movie that is so scary without any of that? You
Yeah,
know, that
so
it can
that's-
still be PG-13 and
I
scary.
feel like I hear a lot of people, they have the hats that are like make horror rated R again
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. And this is one of those movies where I'm like, it doesn't have to be R in order
It
for it to be
doesn't.
terrifying.
And
or
I don't want
fun.
to just
Yeah.
throw gore in or throw like super
Right.
violent stuff in to try to like
You know what it
make
could
it
use?
legitimized.
But the first one that
Nudity.
starts the trend is always the best one. But what
knew
I
you were gonna say
didn't
that.
like is all the knockoffs that it created.
Yeah.
And I think some of these are weak with the PG-13.
Well, and
Yeah.
this was one of the first adapted like J horror from like
Yes.
80s or Asian remakes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the best one.
I think it is the best one,
easily.
too.
The rest of them are pretty
Because
awful.
they're all just trying to do this. you
yeah,
know?
and they're
Yeah.
all two. They also make it about like teenagers. I think we talked about this before. Is
Yeah.
all those remakes are all like, oh, let's put a bunch of hot 20-somethings in there and make a movie, and it's
Yeah.
garbage.
Or
It's
they're
terrible.
trying to recreate this almost exactly,
Yes.
and it doesn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So once this guy kills himself by electrocution, that's
Yeah.
when
That's
boyfriend
when
shows
dude
up.
shows up. How did he know? She
Well,
was
I think he
there?
was just coming
I guess
to like.
He
must have
investigated
been
too.
worried about her or something.
Yeah.
Well, no, he found that stuff that he had found in the records room, was trying to call her, but she wasn't
Oh,
answering,
yeah.
so he went out there. And then
He
he
kept saying 7 days, so she stopped answering the phone.
so she I guess sort of collapses and he's there to catch her and then
She
and then
gets the vapor.
She did get the vapor. She was like,
he
"Take me to the
saves her
fucking
from
sofa."
hysteria.
He does. Yeah, he smacks her. Don't hit women.
Man, so in,
I like how you're
Thanks
the
for
one that
spelling
says
that
it, and you're like, "Oh, but by the way, don't smack a bitch."
don't. So in
Yeah.
the original,
Sorry, I had to say that. It's not even Rick James. Who's the guy? He was on the singing show, the sing off. He was on
Wayne Brady.
Wait, is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Oh yeah. Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
It shows our age if we're still talking about Chappelle's show.
I
Oh,
know.
God,
it does.
classic now.
when keeping it real goes
but
wrong.
in the original Japanese movie Ringu, I think it's really
Wait,
boring.
wasn't he the Beatles drummer?
Ringu?
Yeah, don't laugh at that.
Yeah, Ringu, Ringo.
No.
Don't laugh at things
yeah,
that are
same,
funny.
yeah. You're like, don't
Except
laugh
when
at that.
I say things that are funny, you have to laugh.
Don't
then.
laugh at that. It's the same kind of setup, right? So there's the ex-boyfriend, ex-husband who's trying to help, and the woman in the movie starts like going hysterical at a certain point, and he like smacks her on the face,
Really?
like in the original, and you're like,
We were just kidding.
Yeah,
that's
that's not
actually, you're like, oh my god, like she's hysterical and like
Yeah.
being like super upset because obviously she's upset.
Yeah.
But he smacks her in the face, and so yeah, that's one of the things that makes it a little harder to watch.
Yeah.
Does that
It's like,
work?
No.
no, don't do it.
Clint.
Don't slap women
No,
ever.
it doesn't work.
Considering it,
No.
I'm
Even if
just-
she's
Snap out of it.
like
hysterical.
if somebody was in
Snap
shock
out
or
of it.
something
Right.
and you had to get away from a killer or something.
Sure.
No.
Not slapping a woman, slapping anyone, including a man, would that work?
Because that's
Yeah.
just
Anyone.
that's
If I was
slap
running away
someone
from a
out of shock is
killer,
what I'm asking.
and no, you can't
We get a
shock
doctor on the
slap
show.
someone out of shock. We should ask Rom. Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
that's a
because
good
if
question.
I'm running away from a killer and somebody I'm also running with smacks me, I'm going to trip that guy so the killer gets him.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I'm going to get my
Yeah.
paper cutter and just whack him. Whack you.
Faculty?
Hashtag faculty.
Hashtag
You didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it, but you guys
You just
talk
hear
about
us
it.
talking about it all the time.
Because that's my plan,
Time.
man.
Slow motion Josh Hartnett.
I know. Oh.
Whatever happened to Josh Hartnett after post
Like you never slept.
You just had a show.
Clint,
I'm sorry.
you never listen to the podcast. It's so fucking
I
funny.
forget you bring this up all the time.
Jen and I edit them and I send them out to both of them for
Yeah.
notes. And Clint does give me some occasionally.
Yeah.
But normally it's just Jen that gives me notes.
And I have to listen to it the first time to make sure that nobody hates me, and then I listen to it and like write down.
We also have to make
notes.
sure Todd doesn't say anything super offensive. And then
Yeah,
we cut
that's
it
what
out.
the second time is.
You had just been outed.
A lot of gross shit has been edited out of this podcast.
One day, that's for the Patreon.
We don't have a Patreon! Why do you keep saying that?
Are you even a real podcast if you don't have a Patreon? Though?
I mean,
For
we
real?
do it because we love it.
You need at least like a Blue Apron ad.
We do
Before your real
We
podcast.
we could do an Audible ad.
Guys, everyone go
We
to
actually have sponsors. We just don't talk about it.
because we don't know our own
Worst
code yet.
Yeah,
podcast,
everyone
yeah.
go to Audible and just type in the code Virgin and see what happens.
I mean, odds are that's going to be what the code is.
Probably, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, The Ring's a book.
Yes.
I don't know if it's on Audible. I read the book.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
what
if
kind
it's
of
on
books
Audible.
pop up
Yeah.
on Audible when you type in the code Virgin?
Ooh.
She's just not that into you.
Probably my body and how it works.
I thought I was going to say Lolita.
How
I
to
don't know.
No, what is it? The
Your
What's
junk.
Happening to My Body book for girls?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, is that an
Yeah.
actual book?
Yeah.
What's
There's
happening
one
to
for
my body?
boys, too.
Man,
What's it
there's-
called?
The What's Happening to My
Todd's about
Body
to
book
learn
for
a lot
boys.
tonight.
I was
There
about
are
to
so
say,
many books like
on
that.
Audible.
Yeah.
It's called What's Happening to My Body for Women, and for men it's called Life's Going to Get So Much Better for You.
Yeah, and here's where the clit is.
Space. Yeah.
A lot of men need to read that book.
That's the postscript. That's the index.
Get an appendix.
By the way,
There's lots of diagrams.
Where the Clit Is by Dr. Oprah Winfrey.
by Stedman.
Stedman.
I am cutting this out.
Why?
Oh, I'm not going to. I want this to be the clip we play when we're on Oprah's podcast.
She'll play it for us. Like, I heard you said this about me.
Oh,
Right.
God.
Oprah,
You
you
get
should
a
be
copy,
proud.
and you get a copy, and you get a copy.
I was afraid that C word was going to be something else.
It almost was.
Oh, I love giving you notes on your shitty jokes. Oh my God, that
Where's my
turn.
anxiety oil? Help me, hard hit.
Oh, I'm sweating. Oh my God. This is the best. Oh my
Did
God.
we watch a horror movie today?
We talked about it 20 minutes ago.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry, Kayla.
It doesn't even matter.
Kayla's never coming back.
I'll be back. I'll be here every week. Like, oh yeah, we're doing
Right.
podcasts
Right.
today, right?
I know you're
pressed
recording.
next.
She like press her face and fucking
Kayla's,
like,
I know you're
hang a
recording.
ring ladder up on the side.
I'll throw rocks at the window. Like, I know you're up there.
Like, it
I
would
know
be-
you're up there.
you're just going to stand out there with a boombox over your head?
Just say that.
Play like the Halloween theme.
I have somebody to talk to now, but these two fuckers lose their minds.
If I met Russ Tamblyn, I'd cry.
We're
I was going to
ready,
say that.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking love Russ Tamblyn.
Wow.
Again, with the Russ Tamblyn.
I'm sorry.
I know,
I'm a huge
the
Russ.
Tamblyn no one
We'll be
cares
like-
about.
I know.
I'm a huge
We barely
Tamblyn
care
head.
about
Are you
Amber.
a Frank Stallone
Yeah.
fan? Just how about
A
siblings
Charlie
nobody
Murphy
gives a
fan?
shit about? Are you a Bo Bridges fan?
I don't know who any of those people are.
Do
Yeah.
you see what I go through with these two?
I
Yeah.
see what you go through.
Okay.
I feel.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
All right, so I think
I'm
we
just
left
trying
off.
I'm just trying to empathize over here.
Yeah.
I think
Back
we
to The
left off-
Exorcist.
This whole thing has been a tangent off the first episode. So I think we left off with Naomi Watts fainting into the arms of her shitty
Yes,
baby
we have another
daddy.
30
Yeah.
minutes of movie. They go
Where do they
back
go after that?
home.
They
They
No,
go.
we
No,
actually
they go to
don't.
shelter.
No, this
no,
is-
they go
oh.
and they find the
They find
barn.
Yes,
Yes, where
which
she's been
leads them
sleeping
down
in
to
there.
the well.
No,
Yeah.
They
No.
find the barn. The barn is where they go up and see where he put the
Was stashing
daughter.
her.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like
they see
along the way,
tree.
we start to see images from the
Yes.
video, and it starts to make sense because
Yes.
now we see the ladder. We've seen the
Right.
chair from the video.
Right. See the horse like eye. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the chair from the video is
And
in
the
the
dead
loft.
horse.
Yes.
Yes. The dead horse.
So they go
on
up in
the
that loft
thing.
that's in the barn, and they start peeling the wallpaper,
Wallpaper off,
and
yeah.
that's where they see the tree, and that leads them back to the cabin number 12.
Right. And so
Yes.
what they realize is that they have made this room at the top of their barn that Samara would live in because it's got all the child stuff in it that she couldn't get out of. Although it's very unsafe because she could have just fallen off.
I know.
But at least they put a TV up there for
That's
her.
true.
That's true. Yeah.
That's how she gets
babysitter.
out.
She
But-
can keep
and I think
editing her films.
She goes it.
Keep editing her film. Yeah, she works really hard on that film,
She
obviously.
She's
Yeah.
gotta make it just right.
I like that there was a line in it, I think, from the boyfriend about like, this looks like a shitty film school
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
Clint made a
Absolutely.
few of those.
Yes, I did.
I was in some of them.
Yeah, so then they go to the shelter island. Why did they go back to that
No,
cabin?
they go to the cabin because they see the tree, and the tree is outside the cabin.
they're going to go
Yeah,
to the
it's a
tree.
Yeah, and that's where the well
The tree
is.
has another clue.
So
Yes.
they find the well is under the cabin.
I think it takes way too long for them to figure out the well ties into this. Like, could you not figure that out way
It's the
sooner?
final
Look for the
image.
well.
As soon
Yeah.
as we were watching the video, like the Samara video that she had made, like as soon as they showed the ring, Todd's like, "It's a well."
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I
that's
knew
the
that
first
immediately.
thing. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
well. Why weren't they thinking about a well the whole time?
Yeah, so then they realize that the well is underneath the cabin, right underneath where the television sits,
Yes.
too. So that's
Where the kids were staying.
Yeah, so that's where the evil comes, and they tried to record the big game, and it recorded evil on it instead.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I think this is kind of fun because the ex-boyfriend starts like throwing shit around the cabin really quickly. Like he starts getting frustrated.
He's getting very frustrated that he
Yes.
can't figure
Because he
anything
can't
out.
Well, no,
man
and
solve
she's
it.
about to die
Suns,
because it's about
the
yeah.
sunset.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's like freaking out, and then they knock the marbles off, and you could tell at this point, like people were like, "All right, let's hurry this up a little bit."
Let's move along.
Like, what's going on?
Let's
So
move
then
along.
they the logical thing to do when you see marbles on the floor is to take an axe and just bust through the floor.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
And
Yeah.
then there's a
Makes
well.
I got to
sense.
get this mold out of here. It could get someone sick.
I know. Yeah. It was some
But then when they
gross
find the well,
mold.
they look down the well.
They drop a rock that just
Doesn't seem to ever
Yeah.
land. And then when what's her name?
Naomi Watts.
When Naomi Watts gets TV punched into the well.
Oh yeah,
What
the
a-
TV comes to get her and like knocks her.
Yeah,
in.
she gets
The
TV
TV comes
punched into the
together,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. So she falls down to the well, and then it gets real hot.
Oh, and Todd started contemplating whether she was wearing a bra.
She
or not.
was, but it was real thin, fellas.
Yeah, Jen and I were like,
You're welcome.
"It's a bra. It's
Yeah,
right there.
we
We
got
can
bras
see
like
it.
that.
She's wearing a bra.
Yeah.
Come on."
Guys, it's worth checking
It just didn't have much support.
Yeah, watch The Ring instead of other movies Naomi Watts had a lot of sex in.
Right. Yeah. Just fast
Or
forward
movies
to
with
like
just like
Clint,
boobs in them.
Can you tell me some of those
porn.
movies? I'm not taking notes.
he's got some nuts in his mouth and his porn up.
Well played.
That was a weird sentence.
He's got some nuts in
It's
his
the
mouth,
truth.
and his Pornhub open is my pull quote for this podcast.
Don't you yell at us when we eat something and you're
Nailed
over
it.
there eating something?
whatever.
Touche.
It's okay.
So they go down.
She's in the well.
She's in the well. He just
Yeah.
runs out and tries to get a fire
Can
hose.
we talk about
That was so fucking funny. That was so fucking
I
funny.
started laughing about that a minute ago. Yeah, he goes to
falls
get
so
the
fucking
fire
hard
hose.
trying to
He's just
run with the hose.
gets clotheslined by this high
It's
fire
so
hose.
awesome.
I
It
almost
is.
feel like that wasn't even planned. Like
No,
that
I
happened
know.
and they just kept the
And
footage.
then he kind of just lays on the ground, like looking, and he's like, "Oh, it's the tree. Oh, the hose.
And
oh,
he's
the
like,
well."
It's like, not my hair.
Right.
No.
I
It's
really,
flopping just the right way.
I really think because the actor's not a great actor. He's not bad, but he's not great.
He's good on Grey's Anatomy.
Sure.
Moving on.
He's not awesome in this though.
talk
He's
about
fine.
Grace.
But I am 100% sure the director said in this shot you're going to grab the hose and run past the camera because you're going to save her because he has
just
no
don't tell her.
idea.
Director
Yeah.
just
They
makes
just
it
didn't
surprise.
tell him they shortened the
Yeah.
hose by 20 feet so he would fall on his
So
ass.
there was
2
like a
feet in front of
knot
the
in
camera.
it.
'Cause it was
was
amazing. He
hilarious.
If he did know what was going to happen, he fully committed.
just
went for it,
And Mike, that was amazing.
Clint, I have to ask you something though. Are you still watching Grey's Anatomy?
You mean Thursday Night Football? Yes, I am.
You
I
single
told
ladies.
you to say that, and you don't fucking listen.
It's not bad to put on a dating profile, though.
Clint.
That's the
Should
way.
I?
Clint, yes. You
Start talking about the characters. I'm more of a McSteamy than a McDreamy. Although that was like
False.
7 seasons
Clint,
ago.
I've got to set you up a proper thirst trap on Tinder.
Proper thirst trap.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, Clint.
Let's write a movie called Thirst
Got
Trap.
nuts in his
Clint,
mouth.
let's do it. I'm not even joking. I have thoughts. I've got the first 30 pages, but the sequel's got to be Thirst Traps.
Dollar sign.
Damn it, you beat me to the S, but I love it. Let's go. Oh my God.
I'd watch it.
Kayla's on board.
I'm on board. Dude, it could be about Tinder.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
the horror.
the Tinder
Yes.
You
killer.
obviously read my first 30 pages.
I did. Yeah, thank you for forwarding that to me.
Thirst Trap.
All right,
Oh.
so
my God.
Naomi Watts is in the well. The well closes over her.
Yeah. This is the scariest part of the movie for me, and it
Really?
makes me so uncomfortable.
What, the whole like
It's
her grabbing her
claustrophobic.
from under the water
Yeah,
and then
it's
she
gross.
Okay.
There's a dead body in there. It's the bottom of a well. You don't know what else is in there. I have a fear of
Urine.
open water.
It's
Yeah.
the hair, like when the hair touches
the gross
her.
wet
Oh,
hair.
can we talk
Yeah,
about?
I did
Can we
jump
go
a
back
lot.
for a second when she's choking on the hair? She pulls
Oh
it out and
yeah,
talks about
I
to
thought
throw
Todd
up.
was gonna puke.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
I did dry heave a little bit.
That was
Yeah.
awful. But yeah, I kept
Yeah.
thinking that there was going to be a big jump scare in the well, and there wasn't.
Yeah,
There
they
really
don't.
wasn't.
You don't need a jump scare in the well.
It was pretty
Yeah.
unsettling.
Man.
Like I was squirming. I wasn't like
Yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
jump scare, but I was pretty squirmy.
So in Danse Macabre, Stephen King talks about the 3 different levels of horror, and he talks about or being scared. He talks about terror and he talks about horror, and we've talked about this a little bit. If you guys were actually paying attention when I said it,
Absolutely not.
right? But then he talks about revulsion, and that's like
This was revolting.
And
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
this is the example I always use when she's down in the well and you just don't know what's around and it's so squirmy and I was sitting in the chair and you even asked me what I was doing because I was just like, I know there's a
I think
body
he
in
kind of
there.
knew what you were doing. He just didn't. He wanted to feel some relief.
The reason
not
I
scared,
asked
are
is-
you?
The reason I asked is because I assumed you were preparing for like a jump scary
Oh.
moment, and I was
And you're like,
getting
"What's
more
happening?
and more
What's
terrified
happening?"
by
Oh,
your
really?
terrification.
Boom. No, I just felt so uncomfortable. And that's part of this, like when he gets into the bathtub with all this stuff too, like the whole house, it's just so gross and it makes me really uncomfortable. So this is a good example of revulsion. And that's why I hate that part.
Yeah, it was pretty revolting.
Yeah, those are the movies that I tend to not like so much because
Well,
they
and
just make
also
me
she
so
picks up
uncomfortable.
the daughter, the girl in the well. What's her name?
Samara.
Samara. And she looks like the day she. Oh, this is when you find out that she was murdered by the.
Right. Yeah, we start to see the
murder, quote unquote
flashback.
murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you feel sad for her because she's just like
You
this
do
poor
sort of
little
do.
girl.
It's
Like a
Yeah.
bag over her head
It's like a
too.
trash bag sort of
and then
thing.
like still alive.
Yeah.
And that's
well, so
sad.
apparently when they shot it, she wasn't dying by the bag, so they like smashed her in the head with a rock and then beat her head on the well and then threw her into the well. And they cut that
Wow.
out. 'cause-
Yeah,
I'm
that
glad they
seems
cut
a
it
little
out.
excessive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a child.
Yeah.
And so
And
you're
then-
thinking, God, that mom's a bitch. Well, she
Right.
killed
Well,
a
yeah.
child. And she's like, all I ever wanted was you.
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
The little hereditary moments too. Which because, well, we're not there yet.
You know what I was looking up on my phone, Todd?
What?
While we were talking about Stephen King, like the smart stuff that they don't
They
understand.
actually ranked the like top 30 movies with the most jump scares. Yeah.
Did you see
We're
us?
gonna make him watch some of those.
Oh God!
This was high
Well,
on
that's a
one
fun
though.
one.
I think it was a bloody disgusting,
Oh.
and the face in the closet at the very beginning that we're talking
Yeah, they
about.
got me,
Yeah.
man.
But there's not as many as there are.
There's not.
Like nowadays that we're used to just seeing like constant like especially fake jump scares like
Yeah,
it's your
like
stupid
the
friend
cat.
that jumps out or like the, like the cat
Or like
There
you
aren't
close the
nearly
fridge
as many
door.
Scary
as I
shit, yeah.
remembered there being
No,
when I
they're
when I
because
watched
it's
it in
atmosphere.
2002.
This
Yes.
movie, that's why
There's a
it's
lot
so
of dread.
scary.
Yeah.
So I liked that when they, I guess at the end of this scene when they get the I guess the daughter, Samara's
Samara.
corpse out of the well or whatever.
She finds
and they
her.
go back to the house. She like showers, which I was super into, and then she gets in bed with her kid, and then she wakes up and kind of explains to I don't know Robert Mueller,
Haley
her son,
Joel
who
Bob Mueller?
I mean he's like a 40-year-old man in a baby's body. I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna date this podcast.
Referred to the child as Bob Mueller
Special counsel to the
of the Russian
It's a
investigation.
little more like
And I'm only saying that because he's like so adult in this movie. That's like the most adult I can think of. Anyway,
is pretty
so
adult. That'll
he-
make me
she-
laugh.
Good point.
She
Yeah.
tells her son, who's in charge of the Russia investigation, Clint's about to
about
spit
to
water on his nose.
swallow,
So
swallow.
she tells her son. She tells her son.
Swallowed. Only time I swallow and everybody cheers.
Normally he's just like, good boy.
Yeah, and then leaves. It's amazing.
Wow.
Kayla enjoyed that one. So she tells her
I like a
son, who
dirty
just the other
joke.
12 Russians, that I listen to Pod Save America, guys. My well on this is deep. As deep as the
as
well
deep.
in the ring.
It's more of a ring,
So
you would
anyway,
say.
so they get the fucking kid out of the well, and then she tells her son that they got the body out of the well, and he's like, "What, bitch?
Yeah,
You helped her,
you're not supposed to help
dude."
her.
That
she
was,
never sleeps.
He's like, have you been listening to anything
Anything
I've
Right.
been telling you?
I know I'm
Right.
6, but I'm much smarter than you are.
But no, I don't know if I would have seen that coming.
Well, look at
know?
his drawings.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but I think
you
you
think you
think
might stop it. Yeah.
that she's like
what does she
like
think is
that
going to
because she's
happen? Like
in
she
the
hugs her
well.
corpse and everything's cool.
Well, but
Well,
there's no.
I think it's like a mothering thing. Like her mother wasn't there. If I can take care of her,
Right.
and,
Or like
help
I found
her
her body. I've properly laid her to
Yes.
rest.
Okay,
She's
because
not
she
in the
had
dark
these
place anymore.
feelings that
Right.
she would give
Yeah.
her like a pass.
Right.
In all
Exactly.
fairness,
She's just
at this part of the
misunderstood.
movie, I thought it was about to end,
Right.
And they had resolved the curse because they had properly disposed
let
of
her
her at
rest.
her
That's when we
remains.
turned to you and we were
Yes.
like, Todd,
I
this
know.
movie is not over.
Right.
Literally was like, you ain't seen shit
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Just enjoy this feeling. Yeah.
because
Right.
Daddy Bird, whatever his name is,
Hold on.
Oh,
Did we
shit.
say
Oh,
the
and
part?
we should point out that when he left her before she took the shower, they sort of insinuated they might get back together.
Yeah, they were
He-
holding hands,
Yeah.
and so it
He
did
was like,
have a
"Call me
very
tomorrow,"
we're wrapping
and
this
the
thing up
next day.
feel.
Yeah.
They realized that they've been in love with each other this whole time. He grew up because he learned how the well taught him how to
he
love.
was wearing
you
shoes
know?
finally.
The well taught him how to love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he got her a ring.
Oh, shit. Don't drop the mic again. Don't drop the
It
mic
was an
again.
evil ring. Yeah.
I love how you just motioned to drop the mic but didn't actually drop the mic.
I mean, I'm a little surprised. You
Thank you for
haven't,
sparing our listeners.
I'm a little surprised you haven't referred to the well as the vagina or whatever through Men, Women, and
I said
Chainsaws or something
something
like that.
about
Yeah.
If we want to get psychoanalytic up here,
Yeah,
I'm
I
all
got some
about
notes.
it.
Listen, I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of.
We haven't even gotten to your notes yet, have we?
No.
Psychoanalyze this
Right.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like what does it mean to be a mother in this movie?
Yeah.
Because there are several.
I'm out.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
out.
So
We
anyway,
gotta
Is the
speed
well
this
the
up.
womb?
All right.
We got some notes.
Next
We got some
up.
box office
Yeah.
to talk about.
Yeah.
Next up.
So
yeah.
okay, so that's when we cut to Dad and his $5 million loft.
Yeah.
and,
He's watching the
and the TV cuts
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not the original tape. It's just.
yeah, and so the kid's
just
like,
a
"You're not
shot of
supposed
the
to help
well.
her."
7 days is up.
And then
Yep.
he's got the bruise on
Yep.
his arm.
He's got ring sign.
he got that ring sign. He
And
got it
instead
real
of answering
bad.
the fucking phone, he
Right.
just decides to keep watching this shit.
Right. Well,
Yep.
because he's looking and this TV comes on and he sees the well and then he starts to see her hand creep out of the well. And
Yeah.
then,
And then she
she
walks
creeps
towards
out
it,
of the
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Now I remember that being much scarier in the theater.
I
when
do
saw
too,
it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
watching
Sure.
it today, I'm like, oh, this isn't very
Well,
scary.
and I knew it was
Fuck you,
coming.
dude.
No, okay,
That
but
was scary.
had you hadn't seen that before? You didn't know it was coming, right? Because I feel like this is kind of an iconic
Did you,
horror
did you
movie.
know she's
now,
going to
yeah.
jump
Yeah.
out of the
Super
TV?
I
famous.
did know she was
Yeah.
going to come out of the TV, but it didn't mean it was not super unsettling to
Yeah.
see it. Yeah.
And it was, and I remember watching that for the first time and thinking, "Holy shit!" She's, like because
Yeah.
you're not safe if you're not near. You're
I
not
do
safe.
think,
You know.
Is this 2002?
Yes.
The effect on that was pretty good.
It
Like,
was.
It still holds
Yeah.
up.
Holds up.
And a lot of CGI from that time is shitty.
Yeah, and this was the stringy hair girl.
Yeah.
This was kind of the birth of that cliche.
Yes.
And like she still had that old time video look to her, so they weren't
Yes.
trying to make her realistic CGI in
She
the
looked like
thing.
she was on old timey video.
You can be in the pictures.
You can be
too.
in the pictures. I look over at Clint and he just shakes his head like he's so disappointed in me.
Oh,
I do think
Clint's I hate you
Like,
face.
Yeah.
it's just what we like.
So anyway, she kills him.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, she rings him.
She stares at him and he dies.
She
Yeah.
rings him good and hard.
I will say I didn't like seeing her face.
yeah.
I don't like seeing her face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the first
that
time we
was-
see the face. And we see
Yes.
like the Medusa evil.
Yeah.
so what do you
Give
mean? Because it's scary, or you didn't like? You wanted her face to be blocked the whole
So
time.
in the original one, they have the same scene that happens. She crawls out of the TV, but they only show a really sharp close up of her eye that's kind of like twitching
Really?
a little bit, and it's very, very unsettling.
Really?
But when you see just her face, you're like, that's
It looks
just kind of
like-
animated.
It's like the
Yeah.
cute kid with like scary makeup.
Yeah,
on.
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
So, but the scary eye, like behind, like the
Like
hair,
the-
is
Not even
so
bangs,
so
just, like,
scary.
straight long
yeah,
hair,
just
yeah.
so creepy.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was unsettling.
Todd,
yeah.
you got to watch the scary movies.
Yes.
And she's like Michael Jackson.
Uh-huh.
She's like playing basketball.
I mean, I think I'd like
Yeah.
those because those are comedies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd like those movies.
You got to watch a few more horror movies
You
before
do,
you
so
get
you'll
to that,
appreciate
so you
it.
get it.
Also-
Really, there are only like two scary
They're
movies that
all
are good
really
anyway.
stupid, so we don't need to actually watch them.
Yeah.
So this whole time,
Kind of like Anna Faris.
this whole time, Naomi Watts has been trying to phone him up on her cell phone.
Yeah.
Late
And
night
he's
when
just-
she needs his love, and she
Oh,
like
yeah.
runs to the door, and,
And he's screening.
He's on the water in his
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fell asleep after jerking.
So what you're suggesting is
was
that puddle
hilarious.
is not water.
Oh, gross. It was oddly viscousy.
we we didn't see like
wow.
the texture of it.
Wow.
Sorry.
Why does it smell like bleach in here? A lot of output. I'm not editing this out. I guarantee you I'm going to get an email later tonight. Hey, can you edit out the semen joke I made? No. No, I cannot.
Can't do it.
The world will know the truth. So she...
Yeah, so then they
this
turn
is
around.
my favorite part of this whole thing was when... Because you don't see... She
You don't
sees
see
him
his
die. She
face.
screams and then goes out. And she sees the new girlfriend getting in the elevator to go up to see him. And she's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm not going to warn her.
Nope.
You're right.
Yeah.
And she
She
doesn't.
contemplated,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Nope."
She like hides.
Yes, she
Yeah,
does.
she
And
can, like,
cries and
sing
looks at her
back.
blood handkerchief.
That's what you get
Yeah.
for kissing my baby daddy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's mine now. Actually, he's not. 'cause
Hey, he's
dead.
just dead.
He's the
Yeah.
rings now.
That was super mean. Yeah, he got ringed.
Yeah, and you didn't get one. Caleb's
So
got
I
me.
mean, we're basically done. She goes home and tells the
It
kid.
does end pretty
She says,
abruptly.
She tells the
"Why?
kid,
What do you
right,
want from me?
Yeah.
right. She flips out, and
Yeah,
then
and
it all of a
smashes the
sudden
tape and
dawns
burns
on
it.
her.
She realizes she made a copy.
She gets her son to make a copy.
Because she
He'll
realizes
be okay.
that's why she didn't die. She didn't get
Yeah.
ringed because she made a copy.
And,
Right.
Like
So-
I didn't remember it ending that abruptly. Like they're in that room
Yeah.
at her work.
I do remember
Yeah.
that part.
Making a copy
like,
and then it
he's,
just
she's
ends.
taking his finger and like showing
Yep.
him what
Yeah.
to do.
Yep.
I do really like how it just ends like, well, what are we gonna do? Who are we gonna show it to? And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like, what's gonna happen to the person we show it to? I don't
In
know.
the book,
Like, whatever.
they decide to show it to the grandpa who's about to die.
Yeah, I don't know if I was paying attention.
I mean,
to
there's
that.
there's really no resolution
There's
to
like a
this.
No, it's
DVD
just
and
It's
kinda-
like a ring.
It's like a virus just
What?
keeps spreading, a
Yeah.
ring that keeps going forever.
What?
I did
Yeah.
read an article or an interview with Gore Verbinski, and he said there is no conclusion, and it's like a cycle. He didn't mean the ring to be at like a literal ring. That was just kind of something that happened, but
Right.
that the ring was supposed to be the cycle of sharing this.
Right.
Kayla,
Yes.
did you see Rings?
No, I protested it.
Okay.
Well, not like
It does have
picketed,
Johnny Galecki
but
in
like,
it, doesn't it? That makes me sad for him. I love him.
It just looks so terrible, and I do not typically like remakes or sequels as a rule.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked this remake, of course, but anytime they're like The Ring 2, I'm like, nah, I think
Like
I'm
a
good.
reboot kind of rebate.
Yeah,
remake.
like I'm good.
No, I still know what you did last summer for you.
I mean, there was
but it has
Jack Black as a
there
pothead.
was the
God.
tanning bed kill in that
Yeah.
one, which was pretty fun.
Yeah, and they're on an
Um,
island, a rainy island. That's
She
the
actually
cool-
didn't
Yeah.
die. I have to correct you on that. It was Jennifer Love Hewitt in
that's
the
right.
tanning
She
bed.
just
It
got-
was
that's
freaky though.
right.
She got
Yeah,
burned.
that was
Yo,
scary.
but
Jennifer
yeah.
Love Hewitt back in the day could get it. She was a hottie, man.
She
So
can,
you're
she can
okay
still
with
get
us
it.
watching?
She's still pretty good
She
looking.
is, yeah.
Kayla,
Still hot.
I'm into Kayla right now. Yo, she can still get it.
So the book is very different, and I'm interested to hear how it compares to the movie.
Yes.
Because the book was Japanese and it was written, so I read a translation of it.
Oh, you're saying the book was written? Interesting.
It
Yeah.
was written. I was going to say it was written in Japanese, but of course,
Right.
that's what in
Naturally.
Japanese
Japanese,
means.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like in the books, it's Sadako is the name instead of Samara, and
You
she's
think
like
of Sudoku?
no, she's like a young woman.
Nailed it.
She's like a young woman. She's like in her teens, and she is at an asylum because she still has that same thing where she can put her images onto people's brains. But one of the guys at the asylum rapes her and gives her
Go on.
So he rapes her and gives her smallpox, and the combination,
time?
yeah,
I'm sorry, what
because he's
now?
got smallpox. So the combination of the smallpox, the psychic powers, and the rage that she has from getting raped is what makes her like a crazy person. And Naomi Watts in the book is a man. And he's got a friend. Like Noah is not the baby daddy. He's just a friend. And he brags about raping women all the time too. He's like,
Jeez.
I've raped 4 women. I can't remember exactly what it says, but yeah, it's very misogynistic. And his wife and daughter end up watching the movie, but he doesn't care because he's a man. He doesn't care about his family. So it's very, I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
That's sort of
Nobody's looking at this guy in the book thinking you're an asshole. That's just the way it is. Like, that's just the culture. And I'm not saying Japanese culture is misogynistic. I'm saying that's the way it's presented in the book.
Right.
Like, this guy is not an anomaly in his culture.
Interesting.
in
Yeah.
the book. He isn't.
In the book,
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
there and I didn't get that vibe, but I'm not a part of that
Yeah.
culture. So
Well, and this
I
was
don't know.
probably 20 years ago, too.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
went
This
to
is an
Japan
older book.
recently, Todd.
I know,
Yeah.
but like I mean, I was a gaijin.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it.
Well, that's an older book too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I really like the different imagery that we get from The Ring versus like everything else that we, at least white people in America, had seen in horror, because she's based on like Japanese folklore, like Japanese ghosts, particularly women who have been murdered in some way and have vengeance.
Yeah, yeah.
So they
And
have
that's like The Grudge, right?
yeah, like Japanese women, I heard, like usually used to wear their hair like up, and so when their hair's down, it like super extra disturbing and really long, and white is associated with like funerals. So that's why she's got like the white dress and the long black hair over her face, and
Yeah, there's a whole sub-genre of Japanese horror movies about that, like the revengeful woman.
It's like
and child.
Yes.
And if you're looking at the culture that's a misogynistic culture where women have very little power and they have all these injustices, and that's the only time they can get justice.
They come back and rage.
Right. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, and they
come
like,
back and rage.
shit. Yeah.
I'm for it.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever, Samara, that's fine.
Right.
Or like Kayako and The Grudge. I'm like, yeah, just kill whoever comes in your house. That's fine.
They
I'd do it
crossed you.
too.
I would too. Yeah.
Shouldn't have been in your house.
Do you know anything about if this movie made money or not?
Oh yeah,
I bet it did.
Oh, it did. It did really well.
How much do you think this movie cost to make?
To make $12 million.
Oh, dude, no.
5 million?
It's an expensive one.
Oh, was
7
it?
million.
Okay.
48 million.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good. So
It does. It looks
Yeah,
really
It's a
good.
big studio
And
movie.
Gore
Yeah.
Verbinski had some name behind him, right? Like this was not his first movie.
I recognize his name, and that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
So I'd
I
imagine
mean,
so.
he directed Mouse Hunt. So
So that's a classic.
That's a big
Right.
Yeah,
one.
that's a big one.
It's a big one.
Ratatouille.
I'm trying to think of what else he
It's the only
directed.
Mouse
only-
movie.
Pirates of the
he only-
Caribbean.
he
Later.
only
Pirates of the
does
That's
Caribbean.
later.
That was,
Rat
that was the
Mouse
next
movies.
year. So that was like
Yeah.
a huge,
What was
huge
it?
couple of years for him.
He directed Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
right
Yeah,
after
that's what I
this.
recognize him.
Yeah, he said in this article that the horror was really dark for him and he didn't want to do it again.
I don't blame
Or
him.
at
I
least
wouldn't
not
wanna do
for
it
a
either.
while.
But he
Yeah.
also made the biggest box office bomb in history.
Waterworld?
Lone Ranger.
Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
He
Still
did
number
that?
one on
Wow,
the entire
that's
list.
Really?
brutal. He did make Cure for Wellness too, which actually kind of looks similar to this.
Okay, when they were in the asylum and she was walking past the TV with the screen, I was like, I wonder if he started thinking about Cure for Wellness then.
I think that's interesting,
Because there's
too.
a lot of asylum imagery.
Yes.
So how much did it make?
129 million domestic, which is pretty
That's
damn. Like
great.
most horror movies
Yeah.
do not cross the $100 million
Yeah.
mark
Right.
at all.
Baller.
Yeah, this was a big one.
It made 249 worldwide.
Wow.
So combined
yep.
at 3 something?
yeah.
No. I'm sorry. 129 and 124 and
Okay,
combined
it was
249.
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if they spent $80 million promoting the movie, they still made a few $100 million.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it came out today, it would make around 180 million domestic.
And
That's great.
They killed it with the marketing. That
Yeah.
was
Yes.
everywhere, and it was awesome.
Okay, and one
Yeah.
of the first marketing they did was they just played the video as a commercial, and
so
they didn't have any
badass.
kind of context around it.
That's so cool.
So you would just be watching TV, and that video would come
God,
on.
I don't remember that at all.
There's a feature on the DVD. I don't know if it's on the one we watched, but where if you push play on it, it will take control of your remote, and you can't stop it until the video's over.
Yes, it does.
That is the shit.
And then it calls your phone right after, and it says 7 days.
I'm out. I am out.
Well, you know you're getting that phone call later tonight.
Oh, I already texted
like
Todd.
2
She
a.m.
texted me. She went downstairs. She's like, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom really quick, and she went downstairs and texted me 7 days. I go, fuck you, Jen.
That's what we call it.
You think when this movie gets
Awesome.
remade, it's going to be a text message?
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Another like interesting thing about The Ring too, and one of the reasons why it probably made so much money is actually like a lot of the audience was made up of women. So like 60%, I think,
Nice.
of the people who went to see it or bought tickets were women, and they just loved it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of female, like the protagonist
Yes.
is female. There's a lot to say about like motherhood in this because, you know, this woman who's tried to get pregnant over and over again and finally gets a child, and then the child is like the devil child.
Right.
Like when you see the whole thing in the context, like I'm sure it was really hard for her to murder her child and throw her in a well, you know?
Sure. And I think about a lot of the horror movies that had come out before, like torture porn was kind of hitting it. And
Yeah, Saw was just Saw.
Yeah.
When was Saw? 2004, I believe.
I think
so this
it
was
was-
a couple years.
yeah.
It was just
before.
kind of starting to rev up a little bit.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of like the teenagers who get slashed and the girls running
Yeah.
around with their boobs out and getting
Oh.
killed
Yeah.
and stuff.
What movie was that?
Like all of them.
I'm into
Todd's
it.
gonna make a
All
note.
of them.
Yeah.
And so finally you have a horror movie that's like about a woman who's not
Yeah.
a teenager being
Who's
smart.
Who's not an
stuff.
idiot.
Who's smart
yeah.
and stuff. And
And
you're
not
like-
getting her body cut apart.
Yeah, it's like it's amazing that
Yeah.
women want to see horror movies that aren't
Right.
about women getting
There are dozens
slashed.
of us.
Dozens of us.
Like I never knew. I love it.
And I think that they start making more movies like, oh, women actually like horror movies when
Right.
it's a little bit
And they had just come
different.
off of Scream.
Yeah,
which was
like
very
the 90s was
successful
more
for the
like
same
empowering
reason.
of females.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
start to get like final girl stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Right, right. Yeah, and I don't really like movies with a lot of gore, so this kind of movie is great for me because it's
Verbinski?
actually
that was
see
a
what
good
you
one.
did there.
Nailed it.
But like I like watching movies like this that are actually scary without having any kind of really in your face like gore stuff.
I agree.
I'm trying not to say
Well,
gore. I
this
can't think of another word.
definitely set the stage for a supernatural trend.
Yes, it
that
did.
is still going on, really.
And I'm
it was
down
like
for
15 years ago.
Like Sinisters, that's
like
got a little vibe.
Conjuring, all that kind of stuff. People still want to see movies like this. Like ghosts are always scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll always be
Conjuring's going to
scary.
scare the fuck out of you.
I don't want to see. I mean,
It's so fun.
It is. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate these movies so much.
Do you want to know who originally was going to be Naomi Watts in this movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, they first offered it to Jennifer Connelly.
I could see
That'd have
that.
been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in Dark Water.
She was in Darkwater. I think she may have had some buyer's remorse.
I
from not
imagine
doing
so,
this.
yeah.
And then I wrote down Darkwater instead of a name right underneath her. Jennifer Love Hewitt. They offered it to her.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
I would have loved that.
And then they offered it to Gwyneth Paltrow and Kate Beckinsale, and all of them turned it down. And then they got to Naomi Watts,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see some of those people.
which is funny. Like
Yeah.
all of them have done arguably horror movies.
And I think
you know.
Naomi Watts did a great job.
I do
in this.
too. I
thought
think she was great. This was before
Yeah.
anybody really knew who she was. I think I can't think of
Yeah.
anything she was in before this
I
that
don't
was
know.
big.
But I think she did
don't
very well in
remember.
this.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
she
she was
great.
awesome. Like really smart, capable.
Yeah,
Like
She did a lot of
assertive.
journalisting.
She
Yeah.
does
She
not
did.
do a lot of studio pictures, even after this
Yeah.
one came out. So
I mean, she's like best friends with Nicole Kidman too.
Really?
Yeah, because they're both from Australia, around the same age, and I think they kind of have different. It could be that she saw kind of the trajectory Nicole Kidman's career was taking, and she's like, not
Well, I
quite.
wonder
for
if
me.
she got Martin Henderson cast because he's also Australian.
Oh, could be. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, watch Torque. with
Maybe
Ice
they're all
Cube.
friends.
Well, all right.
Yeah, and Strangers Pray at Night because that was good too.
Oh yeah,
I liked it.
it was solid.
Yeah.
He's also in Bride and Prejudice, which is a Bollywood remake of Pride and Prejudice.
Oh my
That sounds
God.
like
It's
right up your
adorable.
alley, Todd.
I
Pride
probably would
and
love that.
Prejudice.
Because
You
I
would
like
love it.
Bollywood films and I fucking love like 1800s, 1900s English literature.
Fancy
Oh my
British
God.
Music
people.
and
I'll let
happiness.
you borrow it because I have it on DVD. It's amazing. And my husband hates it, so every time I try to watch it, he's like mad about it.
Well, I'm pretty much gay,
Well,
so
you make him watch it. You just invite Todd over to watch it if you want. Like, I'll just invite
Well,
this other
Todd's
man
going to come over
This
and
is my
watch it
new
with
married
me.
don't get
boyfriend.
me shot by your husband. I've never seen your husband, but I can guarantee you he can beat me up.
Date some married people, Todd. It'll be good for you.
I'm out. I am out. Explain the scary stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. Scary
do it
scale.
correctly
Let's
for
see if I
once.
can do it. Yeah, sure. We should just have a man explain it, right? Okay.
We do have
I'll
to
handle this, Jen.
Hold on. This
The
is
fu-
what you meant to say.
The funny thing is, we do have to explain it every time because you forget the
I
scale.
know. Okay, no, I'm going to do it right. Okay,
All
so
right.
this is a scale from 1 to 10. It's not about the quality of the movie. It is about how scary we found it today. And our 1 example is Ghostbusters.
Yep.
And our 10 example is Texas Chainsaw
Yay!
Massacre.
You
Boom! I got it. It only took me like 15
Not
times.
the beginning with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, that's horrifying
So
for another
if you
movie.
had a 1 to 10,
Okay.
what would it be?
And how I felt today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Watching it today.
Maybe like a 5.
And
Okay.
you've seen it a few times. Like,
Yes,
okay.
I love this movie. I am wearing a T-shirt right now with
Yes.
Samara
Yes,
on
you
it.
are.
So
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a cool T-shirt. too.
Normally I find it scarier, but watching it with like a group
Yeah.
in broad daylight is
Yeah,
a little
sure.
bit less scary.
It's one of those under the radar
I'm gonna
T-shirts
go ahead and disagree
too.
with you
Yeah,
on
I like it. Oh yeah.
So for me, it was probably a 7,
Okay.
just because it was terrifying.
Yeah, based
It
on the
was-
amount of dumb jokes and audible screams. I'm
That's how you know.
gonna put one of those like trackers like from Tremors on, and when it starts going like this and the jokes get really stupid, that's what we know.
I like how you say when it's going like this on an audio
I'm
podcast.
sorry, when it's
But yeah, so it was probably
listeners
7 for
know
me.
what I mean.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Context clues. All right.
I think I'm gonna give it a 6. I
Nice.
don't know. Maybe I'll do a 7. I think.
Yay.
Yeah, I don't know. The revulsion thing, it just it makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, you were squirming quite a bit.
I really
I'm gonna
was.
go with a 4. I don't know what happened. I like back in the day, I'd have given this like an 8,
Yeah.
8 or a 9.
Well,
but
and
I'm-
it's because it doesn't have. Maybe it doesn't have the same impact if the second time you've seen it because you know
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
True, and
Like when you saw
also
it on TV.
I forgot a lot. The only thing I remember for sure was her crawling out of the TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't even remember the context of that. So I forgot most of it. So it was fun to watch it again. But
Yeah.
and I love the sense of dread and everything. But how many horror movies have I seen between 2002 and now?
Right.
You know, so I
Right.
think I've just
Exactly.
become much more immune.
And movies
That could be.
very similar to this too.
Sure.
you
And
know?
this movie kicked off a huge trend that we saw of a bazillion times and
Right.
probably got desensitized to a little bit.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
looking for twists.
I never
you know?
got desensitized to
Yeah.
it though. But
Did
yeah.
you not?
Yeah.
Because you never saw it.
Right. So, Kayla,
Yes.
Yes.
Kayla's
how
on
do
it.
people reach out to you and the podcast that you were on online and how do they find your podcast?
So my personal Instagram is Kayla Lenz. That's LNZ, and I'm at Music City Horror, and you can find us everywhere. We're on everything.
Is it at Music City Horror everywhere?
Yep.
I thought it was because I follow you guys on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
have a lot of engagement
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yeah, we try.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like
And
it.
you guys are more like you do a lot of interviews and you talk like more
Yes.
themed
You
episodes
interview
too.
like legit people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Who was your last interview?
Joe Bob Briggs.
It was awesome.
Who's killing it on Shudder.
Yeah.
Well, cool. If you want to follow us, our socials are at Horror Virgin.
Oh, were you trying to get me to say something?
No.
At Horror Virgin, you can follow me at Jim Ferratu.
And I'm at Todd J. Awesome. Clint writes an Angel Fire blog called The Male Gaze.
Yep. He appreciates fan
Check it
fiction
out.
on that too.
If you have a Mac, you're shit out of luck. But if you still have a PC,
yeah.
You
Or
can find his profile on Friendster.
he's also looking for sequel screenplay ideas. So
Also
just
on
shoot
MySpace.
us one of
Anything with
those.
an S that he can put a dollar sign through.
On
he's into it.
MySpace, yeah.
And he's got the first 30 pages for already.
Yeah. Should we plug our website because it's up?
Yeah,
now?
horrorvirgin.com. Go check it out. We got a lot of great blogs that Jen
Yeah.
has written. But yeah.
also check out the Modern Horrors Network, which
Yes.
we are a part of.
Yes,
If
they're
you haven't
awesome.
yet.
They have a really cool narrative podcast called On Death, Dying, and Other Things.
And the
I
Final
love
Girls
it.
podcast.
And the Final Girls,
which
yeah.
is great because it's two attractive women talking about horror movies, which we
Yeah.
sort of had in here today, but not all the time.
Kayla, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for
And please
having
come
me.
back again.
Oh, yes.
yes.
I was joking about throwing rocks at the window, being like, I know you're in there. Watch your
Right.
movies without me.
Sure.
I'm coming up.
I'm Clint.
I'm Todd.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Kayla.
Catch you guys next week.
Bye. Nerds.